All right, welcome to the Balanced Blueprint. I'm your host, Garrett Day. Alongside of me is Stacy Leah Day.
Hello.
And Jason Winkler.
How's it going?
We have a special guest today, entrepreneur, creative, I would say creative designer, anything else that is super creative. We have Johnny Persón.
Persón.
Johnny Persón.
Persón.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for coming.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Let's start it out by kind of talking about your young days and your younger life, okay? And I want to kind of see what was driving you at that time, of if you had some creative juices at that time, or if you were going into design work, or if you even wanted to go into something like that. So what was kind of not even a passion, because at the time, of course, we're so young and we don't have that passion and we don't understand it, but what were you into when you were younger?
What comes to mind, I played baseball a lot growing up, and then when I was like 10 or 11, I saw Rob Dyrdek start to come on the scene. And I said, Dad, I'm quitting. My whole life goal was to play baseball. I played year-round. I played All-Star, I played Winter League, I played everything. Okay. And I told my dad, I'm quitting baseball. I'm going to become a professional skateboarder. I want to be like Rob Dyrdek.
And how old were you then?
Probably 10, 11, something like that.
Okay.
And my dad was like, are you sure? I'm like, this is the direction I want to go.
Right.
I linked up with this crew of skate kids. Mind you, I grew up in Westside Costa Mesa near Hurley, Volcom, Quicksilver when it used to be there.
Yeah.
Dam Am was every year. It was like a 5-minute skate from my house.
Big group and team of it.
Yeah. So I loved that whole world. I linked up with this crew of skate kids, and we called ourselves the Fuji crew. Fuji, I have no clue why we came up with that name, but that's what we called ourselves.
Okay.
And I wanted to learn how to do Photoshop. So at the time, I don't think YouTube existed. So I would like find forums that showed you how to like make an image black and white and leave your hat a different color and then like put text on the image.
Got it.
Because at the time we were posting on MySpace. So like we wanted everybody to know about our skate crew, right? Because we were all going to be these huge skateboarders and like we might as well start a crew.
Fuji
Were you guys
crew.
good?
Some of it, we were decent.
Yeah.
Like some of the kids we used to skate with went on to be pros, like the McClung brothers.
Cool.
They skate for Plan B. Like we were little Hessians.
Yeah,
man.
you guys were good.
We were out
You
there
guys
getting
actually
after
knew
it.
what you were
Right
doing.
on.
Yeah,
Right on.
we were doing it.
Yeah.
So I learned how to do Photoshop, and like also growing up around sort of industrial Costa Mesa, I saw all these brands. And I remember specifically there's a brand called Ice Lounge.
Okay.
I don't know what they did, but they used to give us free hats. And I was like, oh, I want to have a company where I can have hats and like give them to people, or like I want to have T-shirts I give out to people.
And that was like
you know?
10 years old.
Yeah, I was just really young. I was
cool.
always fascinated by like the fashion world. I used to play dress up with my mom and her girlfriends.
Same here.
My mom thought I was going to be gay.
Same here.
She,
A lot in common here.
she told me when I was like 26, she's like, I'm surprised at how much of a man you grew up to be. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, what does that mean? Yeah.
Honesty is the best
Metrosexual
policy.
qualities is what we call it nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
it worked great for me. But I always had a thing for fashion, and like in skateboarding, it wasn't just about skateboarding. I also always admired like the style of people, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, Chad Muska was my idol.
Oh, yeah, he was
like
big.
the
He was big at that time.
Muscalade, the
Absolutely.
Boombox. I got his first pair of Circas that came out. Like I loved the dude.
Yep.
And I happened to live a block away from Angel Cabada, who owned TSA at the time.
Okay.
And we used to go and skate his flat bar, me and my buddy Josh. And Chad Muska showed up one day. I saw the Muscalade pull up to Angel's house, and I was
That's
like,
killer.
there's no
Muscalade.
way. Like, this is my favorite guy in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, I really admired Chad Muska, and fashion was just always kind of a thing that I was interested in.
Excellent.
That was kind of auxiliary to skateboarding. It was always something I wanted to do. You know,
Yeah.
really young, I was always like, I just want to own a clothing brand.
See, that's amazing at such a young age that you had that and you had a passion
Yeah.
for it already.
Definitely.
What was your mom doing at that time? Was she in design or anything like that? Or was she creative? Like,
My mom was always like a very artistically inclined person. My dad was in a band growing up, so like I grew up in kind of the world of music and musicians and like cool people. You know,
so artistry in a sense. Was just
artistry in a
all around.
sense, big time. And then my mom worked at a concert hall. She worked at the Galaxy before.
Oh, yeah.
remember
what's it
that.
called now? The Observatory.
Observatory, yeah.
Yeah,
Got
she
it.
worked at the Observatory when it was called the Galaxy. So
Wow.
like I got to see BB King when I was 5 on my 5th birthday.
that's
That's
cool.
fantastic.
I saw George Thorogood. I saw Motorhead. Like I saw some of the legends when I
That's-
was really young.
That's-
and like I got immersed in kind of that world, and I
Yes.
was like, this is so cool.
The true music.
the true music,
The true music of,
Yeah, yeah.
in kind of the beginning stages. I know, of course, the blues and the jazz.
Yeah.
Started with the classic rock, and then the rock and roll situation started.
Yeah.
My dad got me into a lot of that too as
Really?
well. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's Kenny Wayne Shepherd, all those newer guys coming up too.
Okay.
But then also ZZ Top and everybody
Yeah.
else, Ted
Yeah,
Nugent,
yeah.
all those
Yeah.
guys.
That's fun.
That's pretty
funny,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
So-
of the good roots.
So I think that kind of like it all played a part in my creativity. Like my parents were not traditional folks, right? They
Yeah.
didn't go to college. They didn't have a 9 to 5. They were kind of like hustling, trying to figure it out. My mom had studied psychology in school, so I think that kind of helped shape me into who I am. But I just definitely grew up in the world of like music and art and tattoos and like cool cars and skate culture, just being a part of Orange County. And I don't know why, but just from a young age, I was like, I want to do something in this world. Like
Yeah.
if I'm not a pro skateboarder, I want to own an apparel company at some
Yeah,
point.
and work with those kind of people.
And work with those
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I remember vividly, there's this guy on 17th and Whittier. He drove this old lowrider,
Yeah.
like matte black car. And I just remember this car was like really popular within the lowrider community because it had the stick shift that was like up here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
big stick.
And he had a bunch of tattoos, but he had a Rolex on his wrist. And I was like, at the time, like tattoos weren't as accepted as they are now.
Yes.
Right? Like nowadays, it's like kind of commonplace. You see
Absolutely.
successful people with
Agreed.
tattoos, not a thing.
Yeah.
But back then, it was like, growing up in Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, you see people with nice cars. Like we grew up with little, right? I was not well off by any stretch. My mom worked at a concert hall. My dad worked like night shifts at a hospital as a janitor. Not a janitor.
Custodian.
Not a custodian, like a
Same thing.
like a mechanic within the hospital. He fixed everything.
Okay,
Right?
got
Sorry,
it.
Dad. I know you're not a janitor. Don't kill me.
Oh man, why are you saying that?
Let's reverse that.
Yeah. My bad. Dad. I love you. But like, I would see people with nice things, and I was always like, oh, I guess I got to go to college and get like a nice job to like have a Mercedes and a Rolex. And then I saw this guy with tattoos and a Rolex, and for some reason that image was just burned into my brain. I was like, that represents what I want my life to look like. I want to be very successful, but like on my own terms. I don't want to have to go to college. I don't want to have to go be an accountant or do something that I hate. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this stuff is not interesting.
Being
to
your
me.
own boss.
Yeah, I love skate culture. I love fashion. I love kind of this world. Like I don't want to do that traditional route.
So how long did it take from that 10-year-old mark to going up and then knowing that you can kind of start creating something? Or what was that drive? How many years?
I took a little bit of a detour, man. 10, 11 years old, skateboarding, kind of a latchkey kid. Used to take the bus up to like Santa Ana Skate Park. I would just be out until the lights were on, skating
Just
all
committed
day.
on it. Yeah,
If you can guess, you get into some trouble. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
When I turned 16, though, my entire goal until I turned 16 was to become a professional skateboarder. I got my license. We were all going to go film at the LA spots and like put a video part
Yeah.
out and like get sponsored.
Those videos were the best.
Was it
Yeah.
still the
Right.
same
Yeah.
Fuji crew?
Yeah, it was the same Fuji
Yeah,
crew. I don't
same
think we
Fuji.
called ourselves Fuji crew anymore. We might, I don't remember. Yeah, that whole
Phased
thing
out
kind
of that.
disappeared.
Phased out?
Yeah, it was a very interesting world.
Yeah,
But when I turned 16, I got my license and then I got introduced to drugs and alcohol. I had started selling weed.
Got it.
I had a bunch of money. I had like, I don't know, $8,000 or $10,000 in a shoebox when I was like 16 and a half. I was like, this is what I'm really going to do. I like money.
This is it, yeah.
Money is way better than skateboarding.
Fast forward, it being legal now. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I wish I would have stuck around.
I know, totally right. Yeah, stick
Yeah, it's
around.
not that good anymore.
So I got into drugs and alcohol, started doing that, had a bunch of money. Then my cousin moved down from San Bernardino to get away from his drug and alcohol addiction.
Yep.
He brought it with him, introduced me to that world, and then just everything kind of went to the wayside. I got introduced to Oxycontin when I was 16, 17.
Got it.
And then I got introduced to Xanax, and then I was drinking fifths of Jägermeister by myself, blacking out. And like from 16 to 20, it was just a blur. I couldn't hold down a job, did really bad in school, was stealing from my mom. And then everything just kind of went to the wayside. It was kind of like, how do I survive?
Wow.
Right? So
Yeah.
I did that, ended up getting sober. It wasn't until a couple years ago when I finally decided to launch a product. And that's when I started Og11. But leading up to that point, like I owned a fashion wholesale company. I think there was something about me that was like, I want to learn this space on somebody else's dime. So I got to do the fashion wholesale company and learn the ins and outs of the space very deeply.
Yeah.
Without kind of having to risk putting out my own product, without having to risk putting up the money.
The learning curve too.
The learning curve.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So Aug 11 was the day you got sober?
No, so story behind Aug 11, which if nobody knows, I own a hat company, Aug 11.
Which is a great hat, and I wear it all the time. I got sweat stains on it.
You've seen it on the podcast.
I think you need a new one.
I'm going to buy
some. I need one too, Johnny.
I'll get all you guys.
I swear to God, every time I post, I'm like wearing this hat. I'm not even kidding.
It's often.
It's often.
I would have brought some if I wasn't flying.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So, but I'll get you guys.
Yeah, give me the story because I thought that's what it was. Maybe I should have done more research.
August 11th is my little sister's birthday.
Okay.
My sister and I are 13 years apart.
Yeah.
I was 20 years old, sitting in jail for the second time in 30 days.
Okay.
I had told myself I'm never going to be a guy that goes to jail. I grew up with a stepfather who was in and out of prison for a large chunk of my life. I very much abhorred what he was doing with his life. And I was like, that's not me. I'm never going to do that. Fast forward, within 30 days, I'm in jail twice. First time I was in jail for 2 weeks. And then I'm sitting in jail again for various reasons. I stole a bunch of money from my mom, broke into the house. I was breaking into cars, stealing stuff. I was a klepto. I like to steal things because I didn't have money to get what I needed, right? I couldn't hold down a job.
Yep.
Sitting in jail at 20 years old, I call my mom. I say, they want to offer me 6 years in prison and a strike on my record. You don't understand what they're trying to do to me. Again, 20 years old, like, if you don't know what strikes are, if you get 3 strikes on your record, you're in prison for life, right?
Yep.
They want to give me one. I'm 30% of the way there. I'm like, this isn't how my life
is
supposed to go.
So
This
young,
is not
man.
good.
Yeah.
She goes, are you kidding me? You want me to get you a lawyer?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind after everything you've put the family through for the last 4 years. Like,
And wasn't it that you broke into your mom's house?
I broke
is
into
what
my
it
mom's
was,
house.
right?
She had
The
kicked me
initial-
out.
Yeah.
I had started doing methamphetamines. I was out for a couple days. My mom had a safe with a bunch of her clients' money in it, and I knew there was like $2,500 in there. I was like, if I could just get in the house and get that $2,500, like I'll be okay for a couple weeks. You know, me and my friends will all be fine. My mom will never know. She had screwed the window shut because she knew what I was up to. I thought she was out of town for the weekend. I somehow found a screwdriver. I was trying to pry the window over the sill so that I could get in. I broke the window, of course. I was so out of my mind at the time.
Yeah.
I stacked the pieces of glass on the floor because when I left, I was going to put the window back together.
Jesus.
Nobody was going to know. Yeah. Like that's how
You're a
psychotic
pro
I was.
puzzler.
That's some
Yeah.
glue.
Did you try? Did you try? Did you try to do it?
Straight. Like,
Did you try?
Puzzle.
No, of course not. That's impossible.
Did you try though?
I'm not David Blaine, man. Like, oh my goodness, yeah.
You're all-
I in my mind, it was gonna work.
It was gonna work. Yeah.
My neighbor comes over. He's like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" I was like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
I end up getting inside, take the money. My mom pulls up as I'm leaving the house. She goes, "What the hell are you doing?" She didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
Until like a couple hours later, she called me. She's like, "I'm sick of this. I'm calling the cops on you. Like, you need help." I had tried to go to rehab and different detoxes before that.
Yeah.
Nothing really stuck. A friend of mine had ended up passing away from a drug overdose in between the time that happened, and I ended up going to jail. And I called my mom and I said, "Hey, I need to come pick up clothes for the wake." The detectives happened to be there. I was on the phone with them. I basically confessed to everything. And they're like, "Why don't you come over and just talk to us?" I was like, "Are you going to arrest me?" He said, "I'm not going to arrest you. Don't worry about it. Come by." I walk up. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'll go to rehab, whatever you guys want." Just trying to get the heat off my back.
Yeah.
Because I wanted nothing to do with being sober. I wanted nothing to do with turning my life around. I just wanted the heat off my back so that I could continue to do what I was doing. Right. And his partner goes, "Put your hands behind your back." I was like, "You said you weren't going to arrest me." He goes, "I said I wasn't going to arrest you. I didn't say my partner wasn't going to arrest you." And I was like,
Tricky.
"No."
Tricky.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, though, is I was so high at the time that when I went into the holding cell, I remember laying down. They brought me like a lunch on a tray, which was like a bologna sandwich or something with that little thing of apple juice.
Yeah.
I remember it tasting so good. And I was like, if I could just feel like this for however long I'm going to be in jail, I could do this. This isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then it all started wearing off. And then reality started setting in. And then I go to jail.
Okay.
I'm in, I was at Santa Ana Central Jail or whatever you call it.
Do they try to detox you at all?
No, they don't care.
They don't give a shit.
They're like, figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
Unless you're withdrawing from benzodiazepines and alcohol,
Like to where you could
they don't
die.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Unless
they don't
it's
want people to
fatal.
die on their watch.
Yeah,
It
totally.
costs them money, probably.
Yeah.
You know. they obviously don't want people to die.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
detoxing. So for me, it was just really heroin and opiates.
Yeah.
So they're just like, shake it out, man, figure it out. And there's so many other people in there who have done it. They're like, we got you, bro. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go to court, 6 years in prison, strike on your record. I call my mom. She says, are you kidding me? She puts my little sister on the phone. My sister's 7 years old at the time. My mom and stepdad are going through a really nasty divorce. Her brother, who's supposed to be kind of her protector, at least in my eyes, right? She's like, what the heck's going on? In the sweetest, most babyest voice you could ever think of, she said, so does this mean you're not going to live with me anymore?
Yeah.
Lost it.
Yeah.
Lost my shit.
Yeah, no
20
doubt.
years old, I think I'm this, I got a couple tattoos. Like, I think I'm tough, right? I'm
Yeah.
in jail with all these criminals. Like, I remember there was one dude I was in there with who was on there for like a capital murder charge, like waiting to go to prison or something like
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, this isn't
ain't
how my
yeah,
life was
yeah.
supposed to turn out,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And, but I cried, I broke down, and I went back and sat at my bunk. I looked up and I was like, this is the moment. Like, this is the moment everybody talks about, right? You're
Yeah.
faced with a fork in the road.
Yeah.
You're either going to make a decision to continue to go this way and ruin everything, and I'm going to end up like all these guys who are 40, 45, 50 years old, in and out of jail their entire lives. They know nothing different. They have all these jail tattoos.
Yeah.
They're just like exiled from society, essentially, right? They don't know how to live a normal life.
Right.
Or I'm 20 years old, like I still have an opportunity to get my life together before I kind of ruin everything. And I made a decision right then. I was like, I'm gonna change everything. I started writing letters to the guards. I was like, when are you guys gonna bring in AA panels, NA panels, church? Like, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I need help. And it wasn't for probably a couple weeks until I was able to get to some panels and stuff in there. But
So what was the what was the sentence in a
let me
sense?
answer this real
yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
August 11th is my little sister's birthday.
Okay.
So like after I had gotten out, I'd started messing around with some apparel ideas, and I used to customize like vintage military apparel.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to look like a military code, but have it be a nod to my sister. So I'd put like 081-10-2003 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that it was like an homage to my little sister without, it was an homage to that moment where
Yeah.
like
When she
everything kind
changed
of,
your life.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything changed for me. So
That's great.
Brother. So within that sentence, like, were you still? Did they sentence you at that time, or
They
were,
ended
or were
up-
they just holding you?
So the interesting thing about the sentence, they didn't. My mom and I have different last names, so I don't think they knew that I'd broken into my mom's house. I think they just thought I broke into some random lady's house.
Yeah.
So they charged me with like breaking and entering and like all this stuff, right?
Got it.
Which, sure, yeah, I did that. I told my mom what happened. She actually ended up showing me some grace, and she wrote a letter to the judge. And she's like, "Hey, look, my son needs help. Like, he is a lost cause. 6 years in prison is crazy.
That is,
Yeah.
Like, he stole money from me. Like, I used to write bad checks at my mom's. But like, let's not. Like, he doesn't need to have the rest of his life run and have
Absolutely.
a strike on his record.
Absolutely.
So they ended up sentencing me to a year in jail and 6 months in rehab. Or no, 6 months in jail, 6 months in rehab.
That's
So I did 4 months on 6 months because it was 2/3 time at the time.
Okay.
And then I ended up having to go to rehab for 6 months.
okay.
Yeah. And then when I went to rehab, that was a wild situation. Yeah.
How was it? How was the 6 months in jail?
Sucked.
Yeah. Was it
was
just?
terrible.
Yeah.
It was
it was just-
It's
I mean,
terrible.
besides like trying to do your best to become sober in a sense and understand the value of it. I don't know
Yeah.
if you had it at that time or if it was after the rehab situation that you went through.
It was in jail. So
Okay.
somebody had given me like a sleeping pill at some point because I was detoxing so bad. Like I couldn't sleep. I had lost a bunch. I weighed like 160 pounds when I went into jail. I knew I'm 6'1". I weigh like 195 right
Yeah.
now, like a healthy weight, right?
Yeah.
So 160 pounds just sucked up.
Yeah, no doubt.
No nutrients in my body. Pale gray skin, you know.
Yeah.
It was brutal though, man. Like there was a riot that broke out while I was in there, and I was still detoxing, and like
You had to get your shit together. Yeah.
the riot was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Like you could hear a pin drop right before everything broke out. You're sitting in your bunk in a tank with like 170 guys, and
It's
then you
like
just
that
hear it get
creepy silence.
You just hear it get silent. And you're like, what the heck is
something's
about
gonna
to
happen.
happen? And then you just hear footsteps and fist pounding. And then I grew up with a stepfather who was in and out of prison. So like I knew what I was supposed to do in that moment. They're like, if you don't jump in, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was a scared 20-year-old
Yeah.
kid. I didn't want to jump into a jailhouse riot. You know? What if somebody has a knife? I'm like,
Big adults.
it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, completely.
So they ended up beating me up because I didn't go. Like a couple weeks after we were off lockdown, like
Yeah.
the guards came in with like paintball, pepper spray.
Yeah.
And like shot everybody and was like, get on. We were on lockdown for like 2 weeks. It was crazy.
Paintball pepper spray.
But they took the two biggest guys and like put me up against the wall and beat me up for 23 seconds. Like, what do you do? It like stuff like that. Just jail politics suck, but you have to abide by them while you're in there. And it just was more of a reason of like, I don't ever want to be involved in this again. Like this is not what my life was supposed to be like. And luckily it scared me. Luckily I didn't feel like I fit in. It wasn't like, these are my people, you know, like I knew I had more to my life than this.
Yeah. It's some people kind of, you know, break into it now thinking that they have a family over there or something like that, right?
Because they've never felt a part of anything.
Exactly.
These people have accepted them finally. They're like, oh, now I have my people.
Or affiliates of like, you know, gangs and stuff like that too as well, right? And they just
this kind of scared you straight, really.
Absolutely. 100%. Thankfully,
and it did what it was supposed to do.
It did what it was supposed to do. And my aunt and uncle, they work for the government, like very successful. I've always respected them.
Yeah.
They wrote me a letter, and it kind of hit me right in between the eyes. They said, it was like a 4 or 5 page letter, but in the middle on like the 3rd page, they said, hey, it's not too late, but it's getting pretty close. And if you don't figure this out now, like, sorry.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I think it was very tough love, but it was knowing that I had people in my corner to support me. And like, I feel bad for like the people we were just talking about, right? The people who are kind of stuck in that system of jail. These are my people.
Institutionalized in the sense.
They don't have people like that.
People in their corner
that are going to write them a letter or be like, hey, I care about you and I want to see you get better. Like maybe their family members are in jail or whatever it is, right? So like, I'm very lucky that I had that and I had a support system, and I knew like if I really want to get my life together, I have people out here who are going to support me and want to see me grow and become successful. So it was those things that kind of were like, okay, I know where I need to go. I know I like don't want to do this, and let's get our life on track.
Yeah, I like the track we're on right now as far as where we're going with it. So I want to see 21. Coming in. Yeah. What were you doing at that point after rehab? Where were you? What was the journey there?
So I got out of jail at 20, March 3rd of 2011.
Okay.
My sobriety date is December 19th, 2010. That was like the day after.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's been a little over 14 years.
That's
crazy, man.
Incredible, man.
Never had a legal drink in my life. Plenty of illegal ones. So never a legal one.
I won't say my business partner's name, but he got sober at 21 too. And
really?
I'm like, well, you got sober before you were 21?
Yeah.
Like, cool.
It's amazing.
Story. It's amazing.
People are always like, wait, what?
Yeah. But that happened to him too.
Drink, you know?
That's absolutely. You got your wiggles out.
I got my wiggles
stages,
out.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
So I got out of jail March of 2011. I was just focused on like getting a base, right? Like I needed to get a job. I needed to go into rehab for 6 months. I needed to find a place to live after I got out of rehab. I started working odd jobs at like juice bars, whatever. Started working at a juice bar, and then kind of the way I got into the fashion space, one of the ladies that worked at a Mac repair shop above Nectar Juice Bar, which was where I worked at, she's like, you should model. What do you mean I should model?
Yeah.
I've been to jail. You know, like, me?
It was Marky Mark too, man.
You know?
Have you seen some of those mug shots though? Those
What's
people,
that guy's name?
The guy with like the most famous
light eyes.
Yeah.
What was his name? I don't know. He ended up
Jeremy-
being like this
Jeremy
big
Meeks.
model.
Yeah, he was like the
Big model.
Animal for the mugshot, man.
And then
made him.
they've done some pictures where they change his eye color, and you're like, meh. It's just the eyes.
Yeah, it's just the really bright blue eyes and the fact that he was in
the
jail.
chiseled
chiseled
face, the tan skin. I guess.
It's the felony
good.
complex some of these girls have,
exactly.
you know?
Right?
The bad boy
The
complex.
bad boys, yeah.
So she had suggested I start modeling.
Okay.
Then, do you remember I Am King Clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them.
So they used to come into the juice bar all the time.
Okay.
And they walked in one day and they're like, hey, we need a model for a shoot. Like I would always hook them up with juices and stuff. I was definitely like, I was giving away things I shouldn't have given away at my job for like my own personal gain. Because I had an idea though. I was like, I know that I'm around a bunch of apparel companies here, right? These people come in here. This is the only juice bar around here. I'm going to utilize what I have right now to build connections with these people in this space, right?
Very smart.
So I would like give them free juices, free cleanses, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he paid with his I Am King credit card one time. I was like, do you work for them? He's like, I own it.
Yeah.
So I like really hyped him up. I was like, oh, whatever you want, bro. Like,
whatever you want.
On me.
But they came in one day and they're like, hey, we need a model. And I was like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
I did that. And then that lady from the Mac repair shop came down. She's like, you should model. I was like, okay. I ended up modeling for them. I ended up going and getting signed to a modeling agency out in Beverly Hills. Cause I was like, this is kind of, maybe I could go, everything that I was doing was for the mission of like eventually starting an apparel company, right? Like if I go model for these apparel companies, maybe I'll be able to make some connections with designers or whoever it is. I don't know what it's going to be.
You still had that spark from when you were 10.
Yeah, this was always the mission in my mind.
Amazing.
Everything I had done was like to build connections and network. Like I didn't really know what I was. It sounds like a masterminded plan, but like I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Right?
You figured it out on the way.
Yeah, I'm just winging it. You know. That led to me reaching out to their creative director, and I was like, I wrote him a long email, and I was like, I want to intern for you guys as a graphic designer. Because I knew I taught myself Photoshop, and I was like, maybe this is what I want to do with my life, right? I'm 23 at the time. I'm like, I need to start making a move in a direction one way or another. I hated graphic design. Oh my goodness. I thought it was going to be my calling.
Cool. Yeah.
Was it Illustrator at that time?
Illustrator, Photoshop, everything.
Okay.
And I realized, I'm just putting together other people's designs. Like I do not enjoy this.
Yeah.
So did that for like a year, ended up leaving that. But because I worked for I Am King, Chris, who you know, he used to be the sales director at I Am King. He left and started the Leverage.
Okay.
I then had a connection because I had done well by Andy at I Am King, and he put in a good word for me with Chris. And I was like, hey, do you think I should go do sales? He's like, you'd be great at sales. So then I ended up going to work for Chris at the Leverage. And that was kind of like, from the moment I walked in there, it was like, these guys are kind of it when it comes to the streetwear world, right? Yeah. Everybody's looking towards what they're doing, and I'm like, I want to be a part of this. So I knew if I go in there, I'm going to learn from the best of the best.
Yeah.
I ended up doing sales for them. I became director of international sales there. Then I left, started my own wholesale fashion agency, and did a couple more things before I started AUG 11. But that was kind of like the short.
When did you start AUG 11?
So AUG 11 launched. I started working on it September of 23, and we launched November 1st of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's fairly fresh.
New.
16 months, 17 months.
That's great.
Like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
I mean, dude, for me, it's like I can't find hats that fit well, and I finally found a hat that fit well.
Guy's got a big head, man.
I have a big head.
Say that again. Let's get that clip.
I mean,
do you say the best fitting hats ever?
The best fitting hat ever.
There we go.
The best
you know,
fitting.
And Melon too, because those are my boys.
Shout out Melon.
Shout out, man.
I
Melon,
actually really admire what Melon does.
Yeah,
and
me
I look
too.
to them for inspiration all the time. Like
I was just over there. They're great guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they are.
locked in on what they're doing.
But you guys have a great fitting hat.
We're different categories.
Different categories.
Totally different
vibe too.
Different vibe too.
Yeah.
100%.
So you can like both.
So waterproof?
Yeah.
What?
Waterproof?
I don't think
Ours aren't waterproof.
No.
I mean, they can
They're not-
float
they're-
for a second.
Yeah.
We could take a picture of it floating.
just
and
play-
it
let's have it float. It floats
before
there.
it goes to the
Yeah.
bottom of the lake.
Before it drops in.
See, I have all melon hats, but I've never needed the waterproof part. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any
Just
hats
what
with
you
small
do.
domes like mine? I got a small
We
head.
have some
buddy.
trucker hats that fit smaller heads.
Yeah,
for sure.
See, I like trucker hats. They just never fit me right.
Yeah.
And I feel like
bet
Elmer
you are.
Fudd,
Fit
man.
fantastic. We'll see. I'll
Yeah,
send you
yeah.
some. Yeah.
Listen,
If not,
nice
they always
hats.
end up mine. So
There you go.
that's it.
She's
Yeah,
like, send
that's
them
it.
all the trucker
Yeah,
hats.
just all-
Yeah.
only
Unless I
trucker
sweat
hats.
in it, and then she won't touch it.
I wonder
Might have to
why.
sweat in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start seeing traffic and like growth of the business? Like how long did it take?
So I want to give some context.
Yeah,
here,
give context
right?
to that.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about D2C.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
like
I
how,
knew-
how do you get into that
I
and
knew
then figure it
absolutely
out?
nothing. So I'll give some context to like why I started the brand. I'll
Yeah.
try to go through it quickly.
No, go for it.
I was sitting down with this guy who used to own a brand called Carte Blanche. He was one of the founders of Carte Blanche. They're based in Atlanta. We're on the boat all weekend. He's sitting here telling me about the whole back end of their business. This kid is not a fashion kid at all. He's like graduated from Georgia Tech, I think, and like knew about back end app development, etc.
Yeah.
And I was like, Carte Blanche to me at the time was like huge. I was like, this kid can do this. Like, what am I doing? You know, like I'm a fashion guy. Like I've lived and breathed this since I was 6, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what sparked the idea for me. And then that's really when the ball started getting rolling. But when I got into this, when I decided to do this, I was running a couple blockchain technology companies. I took a break from the fashion wholesale space. I owned my own fashion wholesale company for like 5 years. Didn't do very well. Wasn't super passionate about it, but I was learning, right? I learned trend forecasting, production, marketing, etc.
Trial and error.
Yeah. Got in the blockchain technology space, did well in that for 2 years. That took a shit. I went through a really tough breakup, and there was a year period where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, right? First time I didn't have to work in a while, so I was like, I'm just going to enjoy this, see what happens. I met that guy on the boat. It all clicked for me. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. There was something within me that was just like, it doesn't matter what I have to face, what I have to figure out. Like, there's going to be a steep learning curve. But I was at the point in my life where I was like, I need to stop making excuses for why I'm not successful. I need to stop making excuses for why something's not working. Like, it's on my shoulders, and it's only on my shoulders, and I have no excuses now. And I think when I got into the blockchain technology space, we had a couple like multi-million-dollar companies. So that gave me the confidence to know like, oh, I can do something at a high level. Now let's do this into something that I'm actually passionate about, right? Yeah. So like that, I needed that experience in order to have the confidence of spending what we spend and doing what we do and like being able to operate at a high level. But I got into it and I took every course I could. Like I didn't know how to start a Shopify website. I didn't know how Shopify worked. Like I had to figure out how to set up like a Shopify account, right? I didn't know anything about email marketing. I didn't know anything about Facebook advertising. I bought some courses on Facebook advertising and like lost some money and tried to figure it out. I didn't know how to manufacture product. I'd seen other people do it, but I'd never done it myself with my hands on. And I reached out to like 10 different manufacturers and it was all just kind of logic at this point. I know what I wanted the end result to be. And I was just going through every single hurdle that I had to go through in order to figure this out. We went through like 10 different manufacturers, spent thousands of dollars on samples. Wow. I didn't know what I was doing. I got screwed over on a couple of them, but we ended up finding one manufacturer and I was like, this is the guy. And then I took courses on email marketing. Like when I first started, I was doing literally every single aspect of the company.
How long did you do that for?
I did it for probably 4 or 5 months until I got my first media buyer.
Okay.
And then I found this kid, him and his brother run this media buying agency, and he started doing our media buying for us. And we did, I think our first month we did like $600. That was just with me doing everything. It was going into Black Friday. I was like, oh, Black Friday, we did like, I don't know, $400 over Black Friday, like nothing, right? Nobody knew about us. Nobody cared. No. We're also getting our hats embroidered on blank auto hats. Like it wasn't anything fantastic.
I think that's what Kyler said. It was an auto.
Oh, he did have the
I think you remember telling me that. I think it was an auto back in the day.
He had the OG. That was still embroidered on the side. That's crazy. And then we did, I think January came around, we did our first 10K month. That was a goal I wanted to hit. Awesome. Like, oh shit, 10K, like actually have something here.
That's cool.
And then Drew Holiday bought a hat for us. And he had the OG auto black and white art hat. And there was a picture of him on the Celtics Instagram of him wearing it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just got so excited. I just made a green screen video on TikTok. I was like, you guys, Drew Holiday's wearing our hat. And I put it up on TikTok and then we ran it as an ad. And like, that's still one of our best performing ads to this day. Something that I made in like 30 seconds.
I think I actually saw that one.
Probably,
Yeah, I was
that's
like
the intro.
Kind of like, oh, I think I actually remember that.
That's the intro most people have to our brand is that video. Just this young kid who's like, oh my God, Drew Holiday, you know? And then we did like 30K the next month. And I was like, oh shit, like we actually have something. And then Dom Dalla wore our hats back-to-back weekends on the main stage at Coachella both nights last year. And I was like, oh, like we really have something. People are actually really excited about this.
Without a doubt.
That's great.
So I made some more green screen ads. And then it led to like, okay, now I found an email marketing guy. I can outsource that. And then it led to, oh, I found like a CRO guy. Okay, I can outsource some of that. Like as we started making more money, I've just been investing everything back into the company. And now we have a really solid team of people. Like I've kind of duplicated myself. I'm not doing everything anymore. But now I feel like I'm busier than I've ever been somehow.
Just building the brand.
Just building the brand. Like working on collaborations, dealing with day-to-day business stuff, like whatever it is. But it took us 3 months to get our first 10K month. And then it took us probably 4 months to get to 30. And then we cracked 50 at like 6 months.
And was that with your paid ad team or was that by yourself with the first?
By myself was 30K. Paid ad was 50K.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they performed right away?
They were okay.
Yeah.
It was better than what I was doing. Because again, mind you, like I had no clue what I was doing. I lost so much money running ads. Like I was turning ads on and off all the time, trying to increase budgets over 20%. Like I knew nothing, right? I didn't know about these cautionary tales that you're not supposed to do. So when I saw him come on, I was like, oh, that's how you're really supposed to run ads. And then probably June of last year, I found a media buyer who is actually the head media buyer at Ridge. And the budget that they have is crazy. So this dude he has access to like some specialty group at Facebook with their support that gives you like special insights. So when I locked in with him, that's when things really, really started to ramp up.
Nice.
And I have some serious expertise when it comes to the media buying world now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going through it right now with one of our brands. And just like, it's all D2C, but we're lucky we have organic growth from the people we're partners with.
Organic's nice.
Yeah, but now it's like, how do you find the right people to do the ad spending side of it, the media buying side of it?
Yeah. Have you guys outsourced to an agency? Just have a guy?
We did. We just spent a bunch of money and probably wasted it, to be honest.
It's tough, man. Agencies are tough because you can't find out if they're good without spending.
And they
like
selling the dream, you know.
everybody's good at selling.
Yeah,
the
they're
dream,
great
man.
at that.
If they can get a retainer for a couple months, they're like, we did our job. Man.
Yeah. But I mean, we're lucky because we have, like I said, organic, but it's like, how do you take it to the next level, you know?
Actually, I think that'd be interesting to talk about for this because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of e-com people watching this and wanting to learn about this. In terms of like finding a media buyer, going through that process, how many months have you been going through this process?
2 months.
What have you found to be like the number one thing that you should look out for before hiring an agency?
I'm sick of warm-up periods.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always like, oh, we need 30 days to see what works. I get that, but it's
You're
like,
make me money.
yeah, like make me money. But
Is this what you do?
Yeah.
yeah.
You should know.
Exactly.
Warm it all up.
But I mean, I feel like what you just said on you making a simple ad and seeing it work, and that should be the ad.
Yeah.
Like, almost stop wasting time making these graphics. It's like, let's test our own organic ads, and if they work, let's make them the paid media ads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you have that organic system down before, anything that works well on organic is probably going to work well paid.
Yeah, and
Usually.
I think that's the problem. We didn't do that for this first month of working with these guys. It's like we created ads for ads, and I don't think that works as well.
And then you're working on something that doesn't feel like you guys. You're like, it needs to be like this, or it needs to feel like this because this is what I think ads are.
Yeah,
but then you
exactly.
go and realize you're like it doesn't do well. You know?
Yeah. So we're adjusting. It's like literally been 1 month.
Yeah.
We've been working with them for 2, but it's been 1 month.
Yeah.
And I think adjusting and knowing, hey, like this is working on our Instagram. Like our Instagram's growing from 0 to 6,000 followers in a month. You know,
That's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
On that brand. But now we go, okay, this video got 300,000 views by itself. Let's use that as an ad.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
And if you
I
can
don't know
have
if you have more insight on that, but
if you can have a good hook,
Yeah.
what I'm realizing, if you can have a good hook, whether it's visually in a static ad or in a video, like that's going to crush 90% of the time. And if you can get the USPs and the offer out immediately after that hook, like you're usually going to be okay as long as it's high enough quality.
yeah.
But I think, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I would agree with you, right?
Yeah.
Warm up periods, or they always have some excuse for like, oh, well, we need to do this, or and it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know
what to do. You guys
You've been doing this for how long? You said you've made how much money in the e-com? Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes maybe these agencies work with 8-figure brands and like they don't care what their ad spend is. And
Exactly.
you also have to break it down too from an e-commerce perspective. Like AOV is going to largely determine like how well your ads do. Like you could spend $1,000 and only get a couple orders if you're selling a high ticket item, right?
Yeah.
If your item's $2,500 a piece, like who cares how much you spend? Once you get one order, you're good. But if you're working on like 10, 20% margins, you're kind of screwed when it comes to that. So it all depends on what the business is, and you need to look at it. For you guys listening here, like think about your business and think about what you have to spend and what you need as your break even. If you could figure out your break even ROAS and then focus on customer retention and LTV, lifetime value of a customer, and like that's really where you're going to start to see growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, so for me, I'm new to the ad buying side. I mean, I've been building brands, but we've been selling wholesale and into retail for, I don't know, 15 years, 10 years. I don't know
Different
how long
world.
Liquipel's been around, but a long time.
Different.
Yeah. So, and then working with the other people I work with, but with this, you know, it's the D2C market, and the D2C business is so much better on margins and everything else you're doing.
100%.
If you can figure it out, it's the way to go.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And there's going to be a trial period.
Yeah.
Like with
It's gonna
anything,
take time, and
I'm sure
everything's
there's
gonna
a
take
trial
time.
period going into wholesale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once you figure that out, man, and you have that engine as a second arm of your business, like that's 2-3x revenue easy.
Yeah, so that's what we're on now. Now, I mean, Zill Media is a good agency. I'm not going to.
That they are.
They're a great agency.
So media.
Is that who you're working with?
No, I'm not working with
I'm
them.
sorry, I'm shitting on you live. No.
It's all him.
I'm not shitting on Zill
Terrible.
Media.
Fire them. They're horrible.
It's done.
they're
This is our
great.
last one, actually.
But I
Last
think with like
podcast.
kid brands and stuff, like
Actually,
once
you guys come in right
Yeah,
now.
we're going. Let's go in and come on in here.
I'm not going
Go
to
meet
say who
him.
I'm
Don't
shitting
worry,
on.
guys. Go meet him.
But I feel like with kid brands, once you like get it with the kid brands, they take off. Like once you get like the trust.
Well, and
of
also we're
everybody
selling
and people love
subscriptions
it.
too.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Subscriptions.
Yeah.
Subscriptions and bundles are
Exactly.
golden words in my
Yeah.
ears, man.
The
My
bundles.
goodness.
How do you do a subscription hat company? There you go.
That's a great question. I'm trying to figure that out right now, actually.
Figure it out. Let us
What
know.
I've been trying to figure out is how I can sell it as a health brand so people could use HSA.
Yeah.
I'm kind of joking, but like,
But kinda
hey,
not.
we protect you from skin cancer on your head. Like,
Yeah,
use
no,
your HSA funds to buy
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
It's a
Well,
real
I
life
mean,
hack we're
UV
talking about,
action
right?
They have those red light hats now.
Yeah, they
Maybe
do.
I'll
They
start
do.
selling UV red
Little
light
UV
hats.
Exactly.
We're gonna do like
Exactly.
EMF hats.
EMF
yeah.
hats would be
EMF hats.
interesting.
Right?
We're a full health and wellness brand.
Yeah.
now.
Exactly.
That's incredible. I love that.
I'd wear an EMF hat.
I mean, they sell
I totally would.
Yeah. Well, they sell those EMF chips that you put on your phones. I'm sure you can put it in your logo.
Just put like
Yeah.
20 of them around the side.
I have a whole thing on the back of my phone, all of our iPads.
Do the
Yeah.
UV light ones?
I'm sure they don't
do you
work,
press a
but,
button
they might work.
for the UV light?
Test, you can test
Okay,
it.
they test, they work?
Yeah.
All right, good, because I have them too.
Yeah, you can have like a little test. And
I'm about to
tell.
start an EMF brand now.
There you go.
That's it.
No,
Go
there
for
you go.
it.
The
You
inside
already got the hat
e-commerce,
brand.
yeah.
Let's go for it. Yeah,
There's a whole world with that stuff.
Yeah.
it is the whole wellness world, the holistic approach, wellness world. How important is a team, Johnny?
Oh, man.
How important is a team, and how hard was it to give a little bit of your responsibility to that team members of trustworthiness too? Because I know that's a good transition. It's a hard one too.
It was tough,
Yeah.
man. I think I was just talking to my mom about this before I came over here because I'm here visiting family too. I just sat down with the designer right before this meeting, and like the idea of outsourcing design, I've designed everything. I love designing everything, but I'm realizing my limitations, right? And like there's a bigger vision that I have for the company, and I realized very early on, I can't do everything on my own.
Right.
Like I'm going to be very limited, and the learning curve is probably going to take 2, 3, 4x as long as I'd like to exit the company, unless I start outsourcing this stuff to people, right? So it was tough, but I think something that's been so unique about this brand for me is this has felt kind of like a God-given, universe-given mission for me. At every turn where we've reached an impasse, the right people have shown up.
Love it.
Without much effort on my part. Like the only thing I've been required to do is to do the next indicated step and just trust and have faith that like we're going to get to the point where we need to get to. And like sitting down with this designer today, perfect timing, because like we're talking about going into cut and sew apparel, right?
Yes.
And like I'm trying to design this collaboration that I'm working on right now with Christian Yelich, and I'm realizing I'm hitting a wall. And I'm like, I need help. And this guy just shows up, perfect timing. So same thing happened with like my media buyer. I had to go through the woes with that first media buyer to realize, okay, this is what I don't like. But he worked for the time being. And then this guy who I'd connected with on the internet 18 months prior, I didn't know he was a head media buyer at Rage. You know, I didn't know that he was a wizard when it came to what he did.
Yeah.
And he just kept reaching out. And now it's like, I couldn't have asked for a better media buyer.
How many times did you reach out before you?
Probably like 6 or 7.
Gosh,
I was just
man.
like, yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah. I was like, what is this guy, you know? And then I actually sat down with him and I was like, oh God, you were trying to tell me the entire time. Like I have a gift for
hey,
you.
here you go.
And I'm throwing
Here
it to the
go.
side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's another DM.
yeah, exactly. Just say yes and meet with him. You know?
Do you bring them on as like another agency, or is it like a full time?
I bring them on as an independent contractor.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, like he's got an agency, he's got a creative director, a couple design guys, but I do most of our ad designs. But he's just independent contractor for media buying.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the
I haven't brought
collab
anybody
hat?
in-house yet besides, what's that?
Collab hat? Is that the collab?
This is a collab hat with
Yeah,
Christian
that's it. I
Yelich.
like that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Can
Yeah.
you show the guys on the side too?
Yeah.
That's
Just
cool.
kinda, I like that. So
What
what's,
do I
what
have on
signature
this
is that?
side? So this is Christian Yelich. He plays for the Milwaukee Brewers, 2019 National League MVP, hit for the cycle 3 times. I think he won the Hank Aaron Award. I think he won the Silver Slugger Award. Like
God.
absolute legend in Milwaukee Brewer history.
Yeah.
His team actually reached out to us and was like, hey, we've been talking to a few different hat brands. We chose you guys. We want to do a collaboration with you.
That's cool.
Fantastic.
Come
on,
To me,
man.
it's like people are reaching out to me to want to do a collaboration. Like I'm just the guy that's trying to figure this out. You know,
Yeah.
12
Good.
months ago, like I didn't know what I was doing. You know,
That's so good,
So-
Johnny. I love
I mean,
that.
so right now, are you doing mostly collabs? Is that the new?
No, so we're not doing mostly collabs. I've had quite a few people reach out to me
Yeah.
that have wanted to do collaborations, and I'm like, I don't necessarily need a collaboration. And no offense to Christian Yelich and his team, but like when we were going through deal terms with this,
Yeah.
my main thing that I kept on my mind was like, I know where this company is going.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt in the fact that we will get there. And I don't want to give up anything that I don't need to give up because I feel like I need these people, right? Like
Yeah.
I am on a mission, and no matter what hurdles we face, we will get to where we need to go. So if this is going to work, we need to have like comparable deal terms that are fair on both sides. Like, yeah, sure, you're a huge MLB player and super grateful to work with you, but also like I'm not giving up anything that I don't need to give up.
Absolutely.
But we're not focusing heavily on collabs.
Yeah.
This will be the first real collab that I think we're going to do that will be meaningful.
Yeah.
And the idea is to put this out into the world and show people like we're not fucking around.
Yeah,
You
you're a
know,
real
like-
hat brand and
we're like a
real
real
fashion
company
brand. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when we started working through the contract details, I thought about it and I was like, my life's about to get really fucking busy.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to be real busy. I'm already super busy with everything that we're doing, but like in order to do this in a meaningful way and execute on it in a way that people look at and go, oh, they really nailed that. From storytelling to marketing to design to just execution on every single level. Like it's going to be a large, it's going to be a lot of work. But I think once we get through this phase and like knock this out and really execute on this properly, we will be viewed at in the world as like a very different beast to be reckoned with within the space.
Did you go through a certain demographic? Or did you just want to like just go through like, from the teens all the way up to 50s, 60s? I mean, what was an age?
I didn't really
situation?
think about it.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it. It was just
like naturally figured itself out.
Kind of, yeah. Have you read The Creative Act by Rick Rubin?
No.
I would strongly recommend it.
Okay.
It was a phenomenal book. I read it probably 2 months into starting the company. And the main thing that I pulled from it is like trust your taste, right? And the rest of it will work itself out. Like do what feels true to you as an artist. And I don't necessarily view myself as an artist at all. I view myself as like more of a businessman, I guess, but I have both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And I just trusted my taste and I was like, would I want to wear this hat? If I don't want to wear this hat, I'm not going to make this hat because why would I do anything like that?
Agreed.
And then my taste has kind of taken care of itself. And this taste that I've curated over the last, 28 years since I've like been interested in fashion. So that's kind of like taking care of itself. Yeah.
So are you the majority of the creator of what goes out?
100% actually.
John,
As of
that's
right
like-
now, 100%.
Yeah.
I get input from my media buying guy about like what kind of creatives to go towards. And like when it comes to making creatives, there's some ads that we've put out that I'm like, that doesn't feel like me. And he's like, look, I think about when Puff Daddy, sore topic, but was talking to Biggie and they were talking about records that they need to make, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, make a hit for yourself, like make a record that you want to make and then make one for the radio because that's the only way you're going to find commercial success. So when I think about designing or when I think about making ad creatives, it's like there's a difference between performance creatives and like vibes creatives, right?
Yep.
There's creatives that you want to do that like give off the feel of the company and like a mysterious aesthetic vibe and a look. And then there's ones that are like, hey, buy this hat, buy one, get one 50% off, free shipping. You know what I mean? Like, and you need to have those performance creatives because at the end of the day, we are running a business. So.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So
How long did
sorry, buddy.
I was gonna say, how long did it take you to kind of develop the hat after you did the auto hats?
It probably took me 3 months of going back and forth with like 10 different manufacturers to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then the fucked up part is cussing okay?
Yeah.
Cussing
No,
not gonna
go
get us
for it.
flagged.
No. Fuck
Targeting
no, you're
Whittle's
good.
kids here.
No, we're not. We're not.
Oh no, the 3-year-olds
I don't think they're gonna watch this one.
Okay, good. All right. If we can make a kids version, that's bleep it out.
Little bleep.
No, we've had Tyson stuff on here already. It's a very
Okay, cool. We're good.
wide variety. Yeah, exactly.
So
Fucking
let's
A.
go
All
there.
right, let's go.
What was the question? How long did it take me to develop?
Yeah,
the
develop the
hats?
hat. Yeah, develop the hat.
It took me about 3 months going through 10 different manufacturers to figure it out.
And then something fucked up happened.
The fucked up part.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got all the hats in, and the embroidery on the art hat, it's like perfectly proportionate, right? It's like 2/3 the height of the roof, 2/3 the width. Like design wise, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
When they came in, the art was flat, and it was like double the size and double the width, and the crown was like way too big on the hats compared to what I wanted.
And you ordered a lot of them?
Yeah, I ordered a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I called my buddy as soon as they get in. I'd been waiting on them. We had them up on pre-sale. I was like ready to get these out. Our margins were way better. I called my buddy who's worked in the Amazon space for a long time. I'm like, bro, what do I do? He's like, nobody knows about you. Who gives a fuck? Sell the hats.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
They just think this is the hat that he put out. And like, it turned out that mistake that I had with the height of the crown on the hat turned out to be our best selling point on the hats.
Okay.
Yeah. So turned out to be a little higher than I had initially anticipated, but like I started wearing them and I was like, these are actually kind of perfect.
Yeah.
We eventually figured out the embroidery. Now I have a really good relationship with our manufacturer, but it was one of those things where I freaked out. I was like, this is it. My company's over. Nobody's going to want to buy our hats. They're going to think I'm a fraud. Like I'm screwed. You know
Well,
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
I always say this in like a lot of companies that I work with is like the beginning stages you can make tweaks.
Yeah.
And because you're not hitting mass quantity of sales yet. And you can, if you're not selling to thousands of people, you really can make tweaks until you can
People
figure it
aren't
out.
gonna know.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
Yeah. And you might think they know who you are because your ego and like people just like your own inside brain telling you like, hey, this is gonna fuck up our business. But it's like, no, we have we just started a business. You know, it's like we can tweak things for the next couple months and we'll be all right. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a good lesson.
Jay, you ever had something like that happen to you?
Fucking
Any
all the
branch?
time.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
all the time. I mean, I don't know when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Labels and like you said, like when you're buying packaging, there's always something you need to change on the packaging. There's always something you need to tweak in the ingredients.
And you think
know,
everybody's
whatever.
gonna notice.
Yeah.
And you don't hear a peep about it. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Telling
like
you the good things about it.
just like an act in a play, right? Like you could just like play it off.
And
you
improv,
would know,
improv
but,
it.
like, all
Nobody
the
would
They didn't see
know.
your
Oh
last
my
5
God,
plays.
like,
They're
they
here for this one play.
Exactly.
Changed it up a little bit.
Somebody didn't buy the last
people
20 of
that-
our
yeah.
hats. They're getting this one hat.
And like
Yeah,
there's like how many people in the United States? A lot. So I mean, if you hit 500, 1,000 of them, you got a lot more people to hit.
So how many do you normally, like what quantity would you order for your first order base, like upon those hats?
Our first order. So when I first got the hats, we were just embroidering on auto hats. I think I got like 400 hats in total, and I was like, we're just gonna see what happens. And I was paying like $20 a hat at the time, which
Yeah,
What were you
it's crazy.
selling it for at that time?
we started selling them at 65,
Okay.
and then I was running our ads, and I panicked. I was like, we're not getting any sales. I need
Yeah.
to lower the price.
Yeah.
So I lowered them to $54.95. But I
That's
was
when you
paying-
started getting some hits?
We started
after that
getting some
one?
hits,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's because I lowered the price or if it's just because I got
Started
a little bit better
working,
at media buying and we got some traction. I don't know. I
Got it.
should have just left it at 65 to see what happened, but
Yeah.
here we are. And then I think the first order from overseas, we ordered like, I don't know, 600 or 800 hats. We only had a couple SKUs that we ordered, and I didn't know which hats were going to sell really well. And then the art hat, the original one that you're wearing, but the white with the black, the red, and that hat popped off for us, and we sold out of it like 20 times before I was actually able to like keep.
Was that the
stock of
mistake
it.
hat?
That was the mistake hat.
That was the mistake hat.
That was the mistake
Okay,
hat.
okay.
Yeah, and that hat ended up like going absolutely bonkers.
So
for us.
what's your story with Mike Malak? I see him wearing this hat all the time.
Okay, funny story.
Yeah.
Do you know the brand Melon?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just
The
talked-
drink brand?
Oh, the drink brand.
no.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Sorry, Mela. I have another friend who owns a brand called Melon, the sunscreen brand.
Okay.
Mela is a
I've seen Mela.
Mela.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my buddy Dom owns Mela. He just sold it. Congrats on the exit. I had reached out to him. He's like one of the coolest people I've ever met. He's just had my back from the jump, and I didn't even know the guy, right? He's just like, I want to see you win. He's friends with some of my friends. He actually introduced me to Aaron Judge's agent, which is how we got our hats on Judge.
Yeah.
But we were going back and forth and giving each other addresses, like where he could send Mela packs to, where I could send hats to.
Yeah.
I was watching one of Mike Malak's vlogs one day, and I was like, I need to get my hats on this dude. So I text Dom. I'm like, yo, do you know anybody who's in Mike Malak's camp? He's like, brother, 10 days ago, I met him at one hotel, South Beach.
See, that's what I'm talking
He gave
about,
me his
man.
address.
Right? The
You
universe,
did not
man.
get this address from me.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's
Wonderful.
okay to share this
Yeah.
because like
He
Mike's
likes
been
your
a
hats.
huge fan.
Yeah.
Like we're making some 10 hats for him. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's cool.
So I sent him a pack. I overnighted him a pack.
Yeah.
Every vlog since then, he's worn our hats.
Yeah.
Like it's insane to me. And after I sent them to him, I never heard anything from the guy, but he was just constantly wearing our hats over and over. And I
Incredible.
tried to reach out and be like, let's do like a paid deal or let's do a collaboration or something.
Yeah.
But he's just been like, bro, I love your hats. I'll wear them. We don't need to do a collaboration.
That's cool.
We're making some hats for his company 1010 now, just like on the strength.
Nice.
But yeah, just a random kind, like a lot of things like that have happened. Like Drew Holiday, like that was random. And then I became friends with Justin, Drew's brother.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, like a friend of mine who's a friend, works at PSI Sports, who's Judge's agency. And we sent some hats out and Judge has worn them like 3 times. And I'm just like that. I remember sitting there being like, if I could get Aaron Judge to wear my hat, oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like the first time he wore our hat, let's try to make this clippable here. The first time Aaron Judge wore our hat, I had to go walk around for like 30 minutes at like 12:30 at night because I was losing my breath. I was like, oh my God, Aaron Judge wore a hat. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? This is like 6 months into the company,
Yeah.
right? I'm like freaking out.
Absolutely.
And now it's funny, like somebody sent me Judge wore a hat again and I was just sitting on my couch. It's like sick.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's just so
That was
funny.
normal.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still so excited,
Yeah.
but it's almost
happening
this
more.
point of like, this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and like moving with that confidence and being like, cool, now what's next? You know?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to another Mike, a friend of mine who owns Happy Caps. I don't know if you know that brand.
Okay, yeah.
That has like the dripping mushroom eyes,
Okay,
smiley face
yeah,
hat,
yeah.
which is everywhere.
Yeah.
Like on different NHL players, NFL players.
It's like the
et cetera.
chenille patch
Yeah.
smiley face, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he was saying, he's like, I didn't think my hats were going to take off. He's like, but then I thought about it more and he was like, the best thing to wear to get a brand out there is a hat because it's in someone's face.
Yeah.
It's not a t-shirt we're wearing a jacket. It's
Or
not
denim.
or denim or
Where they
like
can't see the tag.
yeah, or like something you put in your pocket or something you eat. It's like
Yeah.
the best way to get my brand out there is through a hat. And I feel like that's why hat companies that work like yours and Melon and people like gravitate to that because that's something that's in everyone's face right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
It's wild,
yeah.
man. I didn't even think about that either.
Yeah.
I wasn't plotting that. I wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, this is going to be the easiest way to get traction. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like after it started happening, I was like, oh, this was a really good idea.
yeah, it was a good idea. Yeah. Hats
So
make
what
sense.
was the design like? Where did it come from? Like, what did you like envision? And
Well, every time someone says something to me, it's like a marble hat. I don't know.
yeah, but because
Yeah,
I've seen
you go.
that. Like
Yeah.
I've seen there's a
Yeah.
brand like it says like Mother. Or she does like jackets or something.
Okay.
and-
Yeah.
But I just wonder like where it came from? Marble.
So after I spent the weekend on the boat with that guy,
Yeah.
I hired a designer that I used to work with, and I was like, hey, come up with like 6 different designs for me. And I started looking at them, and I was like, it all says AUG 11. If I start running ads to this and somebody sees something that says AUG 11, are they going to give a fuck? No, right? I don't want to have to tell a story after somebody clicks on an ad to get them to purchase.
Yeah.
And then I went to this event in Roswell, Georgia called Alive After 5, and I saw all these people wearing Caviar Cowboy or Easy Does It or whatever fucking stupid sayings are on
Yeah.
the hats, you know? And I was like, that's what I need. It was my entire target audience is, 20 to 35. And I was like, that's it. So I was at the gym the next day and I was like, what designs am I going to come up with? And I remembered the whole summer, everybody was like, oh, that tattoo's really sick. You should like put that on a shirt. Or, oh, that tattoo's really cool. Where'd you get that? And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, I already have all the designs that I need. So I took 6 of my tattoos and I sent them to my cousin. I was like, can we put these on hats? He's like, for sure. And I immediately started running production on them that day.
That's cool.
The art
That's
hat
one of them?
is a tattoo that I have right here.
Come
I
on.
have the dad tattoo right here, which is a hat we have. Darlin tattoo. I got a cease and desist from a company called Darlin Swimwear, which
Yeah.
fuck you guys. They don't even own the trademark, and they sent me a cease and desist.
That's
Fuck
funny.
out of here.
So you literally created from your tattoos that you had in the past, and then
Exactly.
just jumped into it.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is
That's a really
cool.
cool
So maybe it's
story,
cool
yeah.
because it's got.
I get so
probably
many
has
compliments
everything
on
as
this
a
hat.
background. Anything that's created as far as a background of why you had that tattoo.
Yeah, not
why
a
you
lot of
had- you
people
know?
know that. And when I
Right?
started, I was like, maybe I'll have it be like Johnny's tattoo hat. Like I didn't know what I was
Yeah.
gonna call it.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want it to be like merch from my body. So I just didn't say that they were my tattoos
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
like I went on a podcast or talked about it a little bit. But like I didn't want people to know because I didn't want it to be like, oh, I'm wearing
Self-absorbed
some guy's
feeling, right?
tattoos. That's
It's all about me.
yeah. I didn't want to be weird about it. So
Yeah.
Get your
I didn't
picture
say
on one.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture of my face, like Steve-O hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
That's
It has meaning behind the brand. Like everyone.
That's cool. I like that.
It's a,
Yeah.
Everyone asks me what it means too. Like every time, like, where I've seen this hat. What does it mean?
looks cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, that's
you
it.
know, like that's it's.
And
a
I've had
taster.
so many people talk to me about this hat.
Yeah,
Like
People-
my wife's like, everyone says something about your hat. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, I like
that's
that
cool.
one.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me too, and I almost felt bad that I like didn't have an explanation.
Yeah.
and then I just started responding like, "Cause it's sick." Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like, sweet.
exactly.
Yeah, they're like, "Cool."
Well, it's like when
It
you
is
have
cool.
tattoos, people ask
Yeah.
your story, right?
Yeah.
no,
Like
there's no
the same
story.
thing.
It just
Yeah.
looks cool.
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah,
people
exactly.
think I'm tough. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, it's good.
yeah.
No, that's awesome.
You got
So
any
now,
mom tattoos?
I have my mom's name.
There we go.
I have my sister's name tattooed right here, and I have my mom's name tattooed right here. So
yeah.
Gotta get a mom hat.
I'm gonna make a mom hat at some point, but I want to
Mother's
do
Day?
it in a way that's like sick.
Mother's Day
you know?
mom's hat.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
it's too late to do the Mother's
Yeah,
Day
yeah.
one unless
Yeah.
my
And one was
manufacturer
pretty
can flip it
fast.
around in 2 days.
Yeah.
We're screwed on that one, but I'll do a mom hat at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely will do a mom hat at some
Your
point.
Mom
be
and
stoked.
sis.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I
my
mean, her
sister's
birthday-
yeah,
yeah.
the whole
August
company's
11th,
hers.
yeah.
The whole company's
Her
hers.
name or-
Yeah.
Special
Isabella on a
edition
hat. People are
Isabella
like, who the
hat.
fuck is Isabel?
Yeah.
What
That's
does
awesome.
she
Cool
like?
hat.
What does she think about it? Like, does she have any like input ever?
She
or-
loves it.
Yeah.
She was out with her boyfriend and she saw somebody walk into a bar with a hat and she was like, "Oh my god, that's my brother started. It's my birthday."
That's
and
so
her boyfriend
cool.
was like, "You need to relax." I was like, "No, don't ever stop fangirling about that. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
own this shit." Like,
absolutely.
She loves it.
How old is she now?
She's 21.
That's-
yeah. So we're 13 years apart.
great.
To be able to like share something like this that is so meaningful to me, like before I started the company, I was looking for purpose in my life, right? Like prior to that business, it was just a money-making operation. I wasn't passionate about it. And I wanted something that was purposeful and meant something. So to be able to have my sister's name attached to this and like do something for my family, like when we exit the company, like they have percentages set aside. You know what I mean? Like this isn't just me. Like this is for us and for my family and for my future family when I have kids. Like, it's just cool to have something that is meaningful to me that like was such an important part of my life. But she loves it. I don't think she's expressed it a whole lot to me, but I know she's secretly.
Yeah, you know
like,
she does.
That's
Yeah.
fucking
That's
sick.
cool.
Yeah, no
She
doubt.
sees celebrities with Og-11 on the side of their head, and she's like,
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
me, that's me.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
"That's me."
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool,
Yes.
really cool situation.
Cool. When are you coming out with clothing?
So we've released a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I kind of like jumped the gun on releasing T-shirts.
Yeah.
We wanted to do it for Black Friday last year. I ordered probably way too many T-shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was going to go crazy. We hit all the goals that I wanted to hit for Black Friday, which was very exciting.
Yeah.
And then we just released a new T-shirt for this last collection, but I haven't quite done it in a way that feels true to me and like my element of design and that I want to do. Being able to sit down with the designer, like I've talked about right
Yeah.
before I came in here, and to be able to sit down and talk with them about what I really want to do. If you think about it, right, it's one thing to order a bunch of samples of hats from overseas and like get them sent to your house. And like, there's not a whole lot of things that you have to do with it. But when you want to go into apparel, you have to go into sizing charts. You have to go into full tech packs for
Yeah, it's not as easy.
It's not as easy, man.
Yeah.
And samples are way more expensive, and like shipping is way more expensive, and holding inventory, you need a lot more space for it. So I plan on making a trip overseas probably in the next 6 to 12 months and going and meeting with some manufacturers. But when we do go into full like cut and sew apparel, it is going to be in a way that is not just, it's not just a basic t-shirt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not just a basic hoodie. Like I want to do some really cool stuff. The last 10, 15 years, like the amount of clothing companies that I've created just conceptually on my laptop, like I could just go through days of these with you guys. And
Yeah.
I have tech pack drawings and so many different things. And like, I don't want to just release like a blank, simple hoodie. You know what I mean? Like I want to go real technical with the details on it. And we're starting to move that way in how we design our hats too. Like we're designing some athletic wear hats that we're going to do some really cool materials, interesting taping, interesting sweatbands, some contrast stitching. Like now that we have this foundation and this platform of consumers and this sort of brand identity, like I really want to start to show people like we're not just like normal dudes that are doing basic hats. Like this is really what the fuck I've lived and breathed. And I think that's an important idea to get across too, though, right?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people think that you have to have it all figured out before you start. You know, you have to have all the designs figured out. You have to have everything figured out. But like, this has been a thing that I've just been building and building on brick by brick since I've started the company. And now it's like, okay, well, now we have a platform, and now we can start adding to, and we can start
once it
upgrading
works.
and now you just have a machine that you can throw everything into, right? So realistically, probably in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll really take a crack at apparel and do it in a super meaningful way.
Yeah.
But the idea is to get through this Christian Yelich collab, launch this, execute on this in a very meaningful way, and then really start to show the world kind of what we're about.
Nice.
That's the idea. Yeah.
What was the T-shirt that you picked for the design work? That you guys tried to.
The first shirt that we did was the
Yeah.
art shirt. We did it in white and black.
Yeah.
It was like a no-brainer because
Yeah.
the art hat was our best seller by like 400% for probably 10 months. And I was like, well, just throw that on a t-shirt. So like
Yeah,
I came up with the
definitely.
big print on the back. It says, it has an art logo, Unbreakable Resilience, like 11 with a circle on it. It's got a small hit right here with custom labels on it. It was cool, but it didn't fit how I wanted it to fit. It didn't have the wash that I wanted it to have.
Got it.
We just got it done through a screen printing house in
Yeah.
Orange County. So, and then the last shirt that we did was a bit more elevated to my taste.
Okay.
We got to pick like a very premium blank for it. And we just put a huge hit on the back of this saying, I don't miss, let alone miss you, which
Okay.
I came up with that during like a very dark breakup.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fuck you to her.
Meaningful.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I mean,
but that was
everything
the
has
second
meaning.
shirt we
It's cool.
released.
Yeah,
I like
that-
it.
And
Yeah.
it's worked. We did a Loverboy hat that says it on the side, and people are like, "Yo, that's crazy." I need
Loverboy
that
hat would be a cool one, man.
They have
Oh,
it.
we
You
do a
guys have
Loverboy
it?
hat.
You
and
guys
it
have
sells.
Loverboy- That's great.
Yeah.
That's been so we have the art hat, which is like hands down a bestseller, and then Loverboy is now competing with that, and then
Yeah.
our Darlin hat in camo is now competing with that. So like
Heck yeah,
now we
man.
have multiple bestsellers that are like operating at the same level, which has been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to come up with a lot of startup capital for this company, or did you kind of bootstrapped it?
I started a holding company when I was in the crypto space, and it
Okay.
was initially set aside for I was going to start doing freelancing, like marketing for NFT companies, crypto companies, whatever
Yeah.
it was. I never used it. So I had it for like 2 years when I decided to start this company.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll just put Og11 as a DBA under my holding company. And because I had the LLC for like 2 years, I was able to just open up a bunch of business credit cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, I can invest capital into this, but like, let's see what I could do with just not having to put any money into it, right?
Yeah.
So I opened up like 4 business credit cards, and I've basically just been flipping it over and over and over and over since then.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been wild.
That's
I don't know
badass.
how the fuck I did that, but it's been
Smart.
working.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, absolutely smart.
And I thought starting an apparel brand, like, oh, you need $100,000 or you need whatever it is, right? And like, not really. Like, you can start small and grow this thing.
Yeah, especially if it's online.
Yeah, especially if it's online. Now, if you're doing wholesale, entirely different world, right?
Yeah.
You need a lot of capital, but that's the beauty of D2C.
Yeah.
It's kind of grown at the perfect rate for us.
And then your ad buying kind of grew with sales.
Yeah, our ad buying grew with sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're spending close to 6 figures a month on ads, which is, I never thought we'd get to this point. But
Yeah. What did you kind of start with?
I think so when we first started media buying, I think Facebook had our limit set to like $50 a day.
Oh, wow.
And that was for like 3 weeks. And I was like, how do I get this up?
Yeah,
I was talking to people. They're like, just keep spending your max budget, and I promise it'll go up. Then it went up to $200 a day. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then went up to $500 a day. And now I think we could spend $25,000 a day or something like that.
Nice.
We don't spend $25,000
Yeah,
a day.
no, yeah,
Not yet.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, it probably took a couple months before we were spending like $500 a day.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got up
see
there
good,
quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Did you see pretty good results out of it?
No.
With the increase? No, not at all. He was just he was just
Well, I
throwing
mean,
more
he said
money
he's doing
out.
like $30,000 a month too, right? So
Yeah, we did $30,000 a month on probably $20,000 in ad
okay,
spend.
so it wasn't.
But it didn't matter to me because I was
Yeah.
like, we did $30,000 a month. I didn't care how profitable or unprofitable we were.
Right,
It's like,
right.
that's numbers. Like
Yeah.
now I just need to
Completely.
figure out how to optimize this.
Yeah.
And then we could do 60. And then, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
we had the numbers, we had the traction there. It's just like, now how do I optimize everything?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
you
the
have to be
X
willing
amount.
to eat shit, you
Yeah.
know, especially if you're going to do paid media. Like you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
It just is
Yeah.
what it is.
You think back in the day too, when they used to have to do the advertising and marketing in magazines and stuff like
Oh,
that
goodness.
too, right? So they had their budget.
Yeah. And you have no attribution software. You don't know if it's working for you. You know,
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, we spent
Just
this
throwing it
much
out.
and
Yeah.
this
Well,
much. Like,
And I
Yeah.
guess too, I make the MOQs on manufacturing. If you have a good, partner on that.
yeah,
That's
we have
always
great
good.
MOQs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I would love is terms.
Yeah.
But
No.
like MOQs are phenomenal. And we've built such a good relationship with our manufacturer. Like he'd kind of work around anything for us at
Yeah.
this point, which is very nice.
Are you worried about tariffs overseas?
100%. Fucking keeps me up at night, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I've about lost my mind.
Yeah.
That was another moment where I was like, well, that's it, boys.
Yeah.
Pack it up.
Yeah.
I guess I got to go get a fucking
So
job.
what are your thoughts?
So
What are you gonna do?
Here's my thought. I think there's workarounds for everything, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple. I've learned through running the company that I cannot let things stop me, right? You just have to figure it out and break through the wall and just trust that like you're going to figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've operated. I'm like a dump truck that just goes through walls,
Yeah.
right? There's
kinda
a
have
couple
to be.
days where I was down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. I talked to an old consultant of mine and he's like, brother, I want you to look at it this way. Think about all the kids out there that have started a hat brand or that have started an apparel brand, right? They're operating on 10, 20% margins. Not anymore. Your competition just went down drastically. And your margins are some of the best that I've seen of anybody in the apparel industry. Is like you have the ability to withstand this. Sure, it might suck for a little bit, but you're going to figure this out. And if you can ride through this wave, like you are going to be solidified.
Yeah.
So just don't worry about it. Then I talked to my manufacturer and there's this thing called air to door where you like pay the customs in China beforehand and it doesn't go through customs when it comes into the States. I don't know. It sounds a little hinky. Customs, if you're watching this, I don't know what you're talking about. But
I mean, that's like people like with the designer brands that are flying, like renting airline planes
Yeah.
and flying product over here. Yeah.
so I don't know what that looks like, but there's some workarounds. You can lower the values. But I think my hope is that within the next 60 days, like 125% tariffs cannot stay forever.
No,
It's not.
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. There will be some talks, and if I have to pay 125% tariffs a couple times, like, okay, I'd really prefer to not do that.
Yeah.
But if I have to, and that means that we get to stick around a little bit longer, then so be it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Make a little bit
But-
less money for the
Yeah.
time being.
But I think realistically, what's going to happen, the tariffs are going to get sorted out. They'll probably land somewhere in between. They'll probably land at like a 30% tariff. Sure, it might be a little bit more expensive for a little while, But 125% tariffs cannot stay around forever. It's just not realistic.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. What about you? What do you think about the tariffs?
I'm not making shit in China anymore.
No?
Done.
No.
Since
Gonna
the
India or
tariffs?
something?
Or just before that?
In general. Yeah.
In general?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you decide to do that?
It was a different product that I was working on that the quality just became different. It would show up
Wasn't
one
good
way
enough.
and it wasn't good enough.
Okay.
So we found a different manufacturer in a different country for that product.
Not stateside, though.
Not stateside. And then the stuff I'm doing on the kids stuff is all in Dallas, Texas. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
I feel like with something like that, for like especially like a
Yeah.
kid's you know, consumable, you got to be
Yeah.
very careful. With
Yeah, we're all American. I mean, we source certain ingredients from places that
Yeah.
need like organic ingredients from certain places around the world,
Yeah.
but the tariffs don't really affect that.
Yeah.
And it's maybe 8% increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
125% for me.
Yeah, but my brother, I mean, we have another company called Liquipel, which is a cell phone case
Yeah,
and cord
familiar.
company.
Yeah.
And I helped start that with him a long time ago, and he is now, running that thing very well. But he's freaking out.
Yeah, I'm
you know?
sure.
He's not happy about
He
it.
should be.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Yeah.
freaking out.
Very bad.
I'm very grateful that the last collection that we dropped came in like a week before Trump announced those tariffs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God. But it was after he had announced the extra 25% ad valorem tax or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, thank God. So I'm hoping that we kind of skipped it. And by the time this next collection comes in, like we can be settled on it, or my manufacturer lowers the cost to like 50 cents a hat or something like
Yeah,
that.
no,
I don't
seriously.
know.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I don't know.
totally.
I mean, I think overseas, like clothing and hats and all that makes perfect sense. They make really quality stuff, but
Yeah.
like consumable products,
Yeah.
like I want to keep everything in America for that.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
Like when I buy supplements.
yeah,
It's like
supplements.
made in the USA, third party tested, money.
Exactly,
Sign
and
me
that's
up.
what we do with all of our stuff.
Yeah, if it's from China, I'm like, I don't know. Even if it's the
Right.
highest quality, there's just
No.
something about it that I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't wanna
Supplements
do
are
it.
tricky, man.
Yeah, well, like on
Yeah.
Amazon, like people will actually take like the products
Yeah.
and it won't even be the product.
Yeah.
Those
Like there's been
well, now
companies-
there's like getting really strict on it.
Yeah.
I mean, for us to get on Amazon right now, it's been a hassle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
But
guys
it's-
on
but it's
Amazon yet?
direct-
we're
directly
launching
coming-
like next week,
Okay, congrats.
but it's taken us like a lot longer than I thought.
But
I mean,
it's
just-
directly coming from you though.
Yeah.
Right? Versus like all these other people that take these supplements and they sell
yeah,
them
that
separate.
yeah.
It's
But like you have to
different.
have a trademark registration to register your brand. You have to do a lot of things.
It's a whole process.
It's a whole process,
As
yeah.
it should be though for a
Yeah.
consumable.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
If you guys want help with the Amazon stuff, I know.
Yeah, the guy I met.
hey.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know him too.
Yeah, no, I don't really know him, but he just ran up
you
on
know,
me. He was like,
you guys are homies.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I'll definitely talk to you about that.
Yeah,
yeah. We have a good guy working on it now. That's scaled some pretty big brands.
Okay.
But I'll let you know.
Yeah, if you have
I might need help.
resources to talk to somebody.
I'm gonna need help from Zill and you on the ad buying for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm happy to introduce you to my guy. You can
Okay.
talk to him. He's pretty tapped as far as clients go, but like the kid's a wizard, and I'm sure
Yeah.
he'd be. Here's one of the things that I love the most about him while we're on the topic.
Yeah,
What I've realized is sort of allowing the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, to like put the right people in your path. I feel like if you're moving with intention and purpose, the right doors open and the right people kind of show up for you at the right time.
yeah,
This media buyer that I have is one of like the best people I've ever met just in general.
yeah,
And I've realized that being able to work with people that are morally and ethically like phenomenal human beings makes life so much fucking
So much
easier,
easier.
man.
Yeah,
for
Oh
sure.
my goodness.
Yep.
I've worked with too many people who just have ulterior motives or who you
Absolutely.
can't
Egos or
egos,
those-
whatever it is. And this guy's just like, he's very Christian, like got great values. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, I love working with this guy. But that's no work on my part. That I didn't
Yeah.
create that. It's just like I saw the opportunity. I'm like, I'll talk to this guy. And now it's just this
Definitely.
beautiful thing that's
Yeah.
like,
It's that same thing with the trust thing, you know.
Well, I mean, you know what's
There's
funny
a
that you
trust
say that
equity.
is like I've started to work with people that have more faith,
Yeah.
which is interesting to me because it hasn't happened to me in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I believe in what I believe in, and
Yeah.
they believe in what they believe in.
Yeah.
But when I'm working with Mormons and
Yeah.
very Christian people that
Yeah.
like put Jesus in their bio, and I love it all, dude. I'm like,
and they seem to work great as business partners.
I'm like, you guys are great business partners
They're
because you're
great-
like
they're great-
you
just great
actually
people.
want to like do things correctly and do right by people.
Exactly.
And
I know it comes back
yeah,
around.
Yeah, and I feel like Jews, Mormons, and Christians all work together very well.
They really
so
do,
you know
yeah.
it works.
Especially when it comes to business.
Yeah, exactly.
My
Jewish
lawyer's
Mormons,
Jewish.
man.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
Yeah.
All
Great.
my best friends are like Jewish and Mormon.
That's
the
I'm
same
like,
here.
That's
what's
great.
happening?
I got introduced into like my lawyer's like Orthodox Jew. I guess
Okay.
is what you would call Modox.
Yeah.
Modern Orthodox. But like Friday nights to Saturday nights, he's gone.
Yeah, you're not talking
We
to
don't
him.
see him.
You don't talk-
Passover.
My wife wishes I did that.
Says,
Oh
don't
my
call.
God. Whatever it is, bro. Like
It's
he's
my
just
time.
gone like 10 weeks out of the year. We're like, where are you? It's like
Wow.
we have all these holidays, but
Yeah.
we got to go celebrate his birthday at Shabbat.
Yeah.
So like we got invited into Shabbat, and it was like one of the coolest experiences I've ever
Yeah,
had.
it's great.
And I ended up the house that we went to Shabbat at. His daughter is now my customer service rep.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm just
There
like,
you
this
go.
is so
meant to
cool
be.
how it happened.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So you don't practice like
I mean,
that
I'll do Shabbat. Yeah, I do that
regularly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it in the mornings too. I'll do like service in the morning with my
Okay.
my daughters and my daughter and my son, and we have it at my daughter's school. So
Do you use tefillin?
no, I don't.
No,
do that.
you don't
But
do
I
tefillin?
will do it. Like someone will come up to dude. I have people come up to me on the street in LA and be like, "You want to do tefillin?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick.
It was cool, and
That's
people
cool.
just like come up. They do that in LA.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm reserved or what's it called? I'm not even. I can't even remember what I am. I'm Jewish.
You're a Jew.
I'm Jew. Yeah. But I'm not like super religious.
Yeah.
I more do. I more am Jewish because my grandparents were in the Holocaust
Okay.
and like the traditions behind it, and
Yeah.
I believe in like a higher power or God.
Yeah.
So it's like Jews, the Jewish religion to me is really like you can believe in a higher power God. We're not gonna like condemn you on other things you don't believe, but it's very like an open religion to me.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I
to
feel.
you it is.
Makes
That's
you
how it
feel.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you
It's kind
take
of
from
universal.
it.
Yeah, we're very
You
like
know.
about energy.
I think
That's
the thing,
it.
I think one of the things I admire the most about Judaism, and I've seen this from my lawyer, he's also like one of my best friends in
Yeah.
the whole wide world. The level of discipline that goes into it, and like the level of open mindedness. I like the fact that I'm never gonna get proselytized by
or like forced to do anything you don't want to do.
no.
Yeah.
They're like we don't even
We don't
want you
care.
here. You gotta earn your
It's a
way.
one-time deal, dude.
I mean, but they're like, hey, if you apparently if you convert to Judaism,
We don't even want you to convert to Judaism.
But apparently, if you do
say
convert,
what
like
you
they
are.
look at you as like, oh my goodness, like
yeah.
praise be. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's funny because my I don't know how we got on this topic, but I'll keep going a little
Feels
bit longer.
good.
Yeah, let's dive
my brother's wife converted,
Okay.
and you have to ask a couple times to the rabbi. They won't even let you the first couple times.
Really?
Yeah. It's like we don't like if you really want to be Jewish. Are you sure? Like,
Yeah. Do you know what this entails?
do you know what this
Yeah.
entails?
You've been
Like,
kosher forever.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't follow all those rules, but I do like the traditions for sure,
Yeah.
and like the holidays and everything like that. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's very family oriented and very loving.
Agree.
Like, it was one of the most loving things that I've ever been a part of. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you see that show, Nobody Wants This? With Adam Brody?
Oh yeah, I did.
That
yeah.
show is hilarious.
When he's the
right?
rabbi, like everyone fell in love with the rabbi.
Yeah, he's a young
Yeah.
rabbi with
Yeah.
like this girl who has a sex podcast.
Yeah, it was great.
If you haven't
What is
seen
it-
that
what is
show,
it on?
10 out of 10.
It's
the
Which
best
one is
show.
it?
Is it on?
Netflix?
Netflix.
Okay.
I
It
think
was
I watched
huge.
that
It was
like
massive.
that.
It was like the #1 show on
I haven't
Netflix.
It was
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I knew a rabbi like that was like very young and like hip and cool. And he's like, hey, he called me like a week before this thing called Birthright, where you go to Israel for
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
if you're Jewish.
Yeah.
And he called me. He's like, hey, we leave in a week. We have one more spot open. I know you're like 27 right now and you can't go after 27.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to go? And I'm like, and usually you'd have to like, tell them a year in advance and do a whole thing. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I went.
You went?
I called my wife and I was like, I'm going to Israel.
Really?
I was
And
going
I
to
went
ask
for like
you.
3 weeks.
I was going to
that's
ask you how that
great.
Israel
Yeah.
trip went. I
I
was
mean, that was 10 years ago, but
Yeah. But
it
I
was
remember
great.
the pictures and stuff too.
I loved it.
Because,
It was the best time ever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Birthright, man.
Birthright.
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 Yeah. So it's cool.
To Jerusalem.
Yeah. Oh, I went. It was a little crazy.
Yeah.
I've thought about making hats with kippahs embroidered on the top
should.
of it.
That would
Just for
be-
my lawyer, he's
come
like, bro,
on.
you should make like a.
That
I was
would
like, I'll
be
make you a
actually
hat
cool.
with the kippah embroidered
Yeah.
on it, but, like on the inside. So he's
Yeah.
wearing the hat and it's
On
like
the
he's wearing
inside.
a
Different
kippah.
That'd be
colors.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or like making
absolutely.
some cool kippahs.
Heck
Like I don't want
yeah.
to feel like I'm taking on a cult, but I was for him. I'm
For
like,
him,
that'd
do
be
it, yeah.
sick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That'd be
Oh my
awesome.
God.
A special one of one Esquire hat. with
Yeah.
a kippah on the back.
I
of
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
really
that.
sick.
That's awesome.
If I do, I'll give you guys some.
Yeah, give me one. I'll wear it to
You're gonna
Shabbat.
have to
I'll
give
wear it
all the
Shabbat.
Jews now.
That'd be sick, actually.
I actually wear it like so in the Jewish religion, it's like something needs to be on top of your head to like know that God's above you.
Yeah.
So like, you can wear a hat if you're not super religious. And,
Really?
like I just wear a hat
And it
sometimes.
passes?
Yeah, and it like
Really?
passes in my brain. It passes.
Do you ever wear? Do you ever wear
Everything's in
kippah?
Jason's
I do.
brain.
I do.
You do?
Yeah, at temple I'll wear a kippah. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Nice.
At the high holidays or whatnot.
My lawyer keeps telling me you need to come to temple with me sometime. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd go to
Yeah.
see what it's all
It's like,
about.
just
you
for
know?
one time.
Yeah,
though.
it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Don't
cool.
get too
We got a little-
comfortable. Don't
we
get
got a
too
little off
comfortable,
topic.
Johnny.
We got a little off topic, but, you know.
All right, what else we talking about?
Well, I wanted to know: do you have a significant other that's
I
that's in
don't.
your life right now, or are you dating or anything?
I do
So
not have a
For all the
significant
girls
other.
out there that are looking at you, Johnny, right
Happy
now.
and
is-
single.
Single,
Ladies and
ready to
gentlemen.
mingle.
I'm very busy, but if you can squeeze into my schedule, you know I'm open.
Yeah.
It's funny talking about the concept of a significant other. I was dating this girl for about 13 months. We lived together. I was convinced I was going to get married to this woman. I was like, now's the time. Like, I had some success in my previous business. Like, cool, let's do this.
Yeah.
It fell apart and it was nasty and it kind of ruined me. And that's when I kind of took that year break of like feeling very lost and having no clue what I was going to do with my life. The crypto company had kind of taken a shit. The relationship had taken a shit. And I was just lost, man. Had no clue what I was going to do.
How old were you at that time?
I was 32, something like that. Yeah,
So
32.
it's the stuff that you didn't want, of course, and know what you don't want,
I
considering
was afraid, right? I was deathly afraid, and I thought, oh, my life is going severely off track, and I did something wrong. And that turned out to be one of the most powerful moments that has launched me into where I'm at now in my life, like doing something that I've wanted to do since I was 6, 7 years old, right? But I remember hearing this quote the entire time that I was going through that breakup. And I think it was Abraham Lincoln, and he said, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. And I just remember hearing that and being like, this year is going to be me sharpening my axe.
Absolutely.
And then when it comes time, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to be ready because I will
times.
be mentally sharp. I went and did a bunch of therapy work. Me and one of my best friends would get together every Tuesday night and go through this book called Men's Work by Connor Beaty, I don't remember his name, but it was like a really deep, heavy book where you're going through like trauma from your relationship with your mother, from your relationship with your father. Like you're going back to your childhood. There's a couple moments where we're crying together, just like two guys that decided to get together and try to go through this work and be like, why do we feel broken? You know?
Yeah.
And I came out of that just like a changed man, all the therapy work that I did. And then I feel like when it was time for me to launch the company, like I spent all that time sharpening my axe. And then it came to it, and it was like, let's hit the ground running, man. It's just been a rocket ship ever since. So.
That's awesome, man.
No current significant other.
Yeah.
But shout out to the breakups before.
It helps you out.
Yeah, it helped
Totally,
me out.
totally.
Fuel to the
You think
fire.
you would have been where you are now without that?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
I think I would have probably, I don't know. Like, it's crazy to think about. I probably would have like gotten a job or something, man.
Yeah.
Just like the pressure of the relationship, like what are you gonna do next? And like, oh well, we want to buy a house. Oh, we need some stability. Like if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't have had the freedom to kind of operate how I wanted to operate. To me, it was like, I'm alone, I'm single.
Yeah.
I will go live under a bridge to make sure that this thing works if I have to.
You have
know?
to be selfish in that scenario at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be
Putting
selfish
all-
in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
to
willing-
make them succeed at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I was willing to lose everything. I'm
Yeah.
like, I will sell every last thing that I own if that's what I have to do to make this work. And I wouldn't have had that confidence if I was with a significant other and we're planning to have a kid and we're planning to move in together and like,
completely.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful
lot.
that it happened.
Opposite happened to me. I had 2 kids and a wife, and I'm
Really?
still building businesses. But it's like,
But it probably
it's a
turned the
diff-
fire on
It
for
did,
you though,
it did,
right?
for
Yeah.
sure. I think I think it's the same, like what you're saying. You know,
Yeah.
for me, it was like, oh, you better fucking really figure it out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
You know Kevion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just met him once, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's a legend. He said, like, if you want to become successful, just start having kids.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll never have a fire lit under your ass like that.
I feel
you guys
pretty-
know you have 4
I
kids.
feel pretty successful,
You cannot-
Johnny.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah, no,
Let's-
totally.
We got married when I was 18.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I had my first 19. But yeah, it's just been, come on.
22
let's go.
years later,
but
man.
I also-
we have mouths to feed.
Yeah,
Let's
we have
figure this
mouths to
out.
feed. Let's
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
I had the
But
fire
I
on
do
my
think
ass.
I do
Sure.
think like you said, like, you know, if you're not married and have kids and you have a relationship and you're about to go do that step, you know, it's like if you had to go get a job and you had to do that to feel like you had to, you know, please your lady that wasn't understanding at that time.
Yeah,
then it's a
like
different
having
story.
Somebody talk you out of
Like my
something
wife
that
is
you felt
so
passionate
sick
about.
of the like she's so sick of how I am as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit. But she knows she's
But
not
she
getting.
signed up for it
she knows
beforehand.
there's no
Yeah.
way out of it.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, she can
just is
divorce
what
me,
it is.
whatever.
Well, yeah.
But what I mean by that, it's like I am what I am.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fucking doing this forever.
And she knew that before you.
Yeah,
had kids.
exactly.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey,
knew.
She knew
we have
what
2
she was
kids.
getting
Now I
into.
think I'm going to start a company. She's like, to hell you are.
Yeah,
You thought you
absolutely.
were?
10 years
exactly.
later, he puts a ring on her finger. She knew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Crazy
that's
world,
cool.
man.
Kevion, did he sells houses, right?
He sells houses. He's a realtor.
He just sold one of my friend's houses, or he
Really?
just sold a house to him.
Okay.
Spencer Wample, dude, that guy. Oh, shout out to Spencer. He just bought a really nice house.
Shout out Kevion for
Yeah.
selling Spencer a really nice house.
Yeah, it was great.
That's funny, man.
Cool.
So I want to know about regiment wise, okay? Like, so what's your daily regiment besides, of course, on your grind and doing what your job is. But what do you like to do as your passions? I know it was like back in the day baseball or whatnot too. But, working out. What do you do?
For me, I think one of the most important things that I do every day is I have 3 daily meditation books that I read out of first thing in the morning.
Yes.
I read a book on adult children of Alcoholics Anonymous, adult children of alcoholics.
Okay.
Which is a very niche subject, and if you're an adult children of alcoholic, comment down below because wild world.
Excellent.
Another book on codependency by Melody Beattie, which I've realized that I've had some codependent issues, especially going through this breakup. And then I'm reading Robert Greene's The Daily Laws. So he wrote 48 Laws of Power, and I always wanted to read his books, and I bought 48 Laws of Power, and I was like, this is way too fucking long. So I got his daily meditation book, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Some of the shit's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But
so you're into the emotional and spiritual portion of it at this point. Yeah.
Since I got sober, I was told that I need to pray and meditate every single morning.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, if I don't do this, I might get loaded and die.
Yep.
So I should probably do this, right? These people have been sober a long time. They're telling me what to do. I'm going to trust them.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that every single day for the last 14 plus years.
That's great.
At night, I'll pray and meditate. I've been really trying to focus on finding peace throughout the day. So meditating in the morning, meditating at night, and just actually trying to get quiet and clear my mind. And I've noticed that I can make decisions better and more efficiently instead of constantly having that stimulus.
Yes.
I work out 5-6 days a week. I like to run a lot. I like to cycle when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
It's been cold in Atlanta, so now it's a little warmer. So now I can get outside, run. Try to run between 5 and 10 miles at a time.
Heck yeah.
Like to hang out with the boys, go on runs with the boys. But yeah, I'm weightlifting and running probably 5 to 6 days a week.
So
and
just cross training. You're just cross
training.
training.
Yeah. Those are super critical things for me to be able to operate at a high level. And now we're getting to this point with the business where it's again, looking forward to this Christian Yelich collab, and looking forward to what I want to do with the company, and we want to go and do a raise, and we want to do all these things. And I'm like, I need to be as efficient as humanly possible. So now I'm starting to rethink sort of my systems. Systems are very interesting to me, right? My morning meditation is a system. I have a whole system for when I go to bed in order to clear my thoughts, clear my brain so that I can get optimal sleep so I can be prepped and ready for the next morning.
Yep.
But now I'm thinking do I want to start getting up at 5 a.m., getting a workout out of the way first thing so I'm locked in for 12 hours for the rest of the day, and then I don't have anything else to worry about for the rest of the day? I'm really starting to think about optimizing those systems and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then if you saw my supplement routine, you would think I was fucking psychotic. Dude.
Hey,
oh my God.
Talk to me about it, man, because I think about
it.
How many pills do you take a day?
45.
Respect.
Where are
I'm
you
like
at?
40.
Yeah.
I just added in 10 more.
Yeah.
She actually gives them. She creates my dailies.
I
Really?
change it
For being a
every
nutritionist.
month.
So
Wait, so do you do that for in the morning, all of them, or just throughout
I
the
do
day?
all
So
of
I
them.
make a thing for the week.
Bro, my stomach-
and I give
my
them-
morning.
Dude, my stomach
No,
can't-
not
not
empty stomach.
empty
Oh,
stomach.
Yeah.
I would throw up
So
a
there's
banana.
certain ones that you don't want to do on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're fat soluble,
What does he
but they're
take?
all-
Run us through, Doc.
Oh my God, there's a lot.
Please run us through for the people.
Let's start with Viagra. I'll start with Cialis. And then
I literally, okay, well,
This is
always,
biohacking 101 right here.
Yeah.
ladies
it
and
is
gentlemen.
absolutely.
always 100%. The only thing that never changes is milk thistle. Milk thistle's always in there. Helps filter
my
your
liver, yeah.
liver.
Especially when you're taking so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and no
absolutely.
matter what, good and bad,
Yeah.
you need that. We
add
always
that
have
in.
turmeric, vitamin C. I kind of switch it up. We do different kind of vitamin C's. There's a lot. We have herbs and stuff we take in our cups of water. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on
There's-
NMN, NR?
Oh, I am.
No.
Yeah?
Not those
Yeah.
two.
I am.
Yeah. What
Not
company do you
those.
use?
True, the blue,
True Niagen?
Yeah. that
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
I use Renew by Science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I have no clue. Just what
You know,
I'm
I
not the expert on
I
that.
bought, ever heard of Hydration Room, around here, like the IV place?
Okay, yeah.
They sell NAD patches.
Oh, really?
And I actually
Patches.
feel them,
That's
So
interesting.
I
Yeah.
get that in liquid form.
yeah.
Okay.
It's in the
Liposomal
refrigerator.
NAD?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Quick. I don't even know. There's so many different brands and stuff that we use. But what's hard is supplements. You have to make sure there's so many with additives.
Yeah.
I have family members that'll have me go through their stuff, and I was like, okay, your garlic supplement has 45 different ingredients
Yeah.
in it.
And you're like, you got this from Walmart. What do you
yeah,
expect?
yeah,
Yeah.
CVS,
Come on.
right? And
Absolutely.
you're like, there's polysorbate 80.
Yeah.
There's
red 40
dye.
literally
Yeah.
inside
Yeah, and you're like
of it.
in the vitamins, and you're like, holy
It's
moly.
nuts.
Yeah, it's
but
crazy.
I think first off, quality, making sure you have a
American
quality
made, third
supplement.
party tested.
Yeah. And then and then you just break it down. Best is always to have blood work and see
Yeah.
where you're deficient. But if you're not going to do that, you take different things. I always switch it up. Probably every month we switch it up because our body's going to absorb different.
Yeah.
And then you start finding things that you can't do without.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things in a regiment to where I'm like, well, this stays.
Yeah.
And we're going to filter these out and work on different things.
Yeah.
So,
I just went and got a full blood panel from Merrick Health. It was like very expensive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
passed
a
out when
lot.
giving the blood panel. They took
was
like
like-
17 vials
Yeah.
of blood.
I've done that
I
recently.
passed the fuck out. But it was my first time getting like a full blood panel. I've done like hormone tests, like at-home hormone tests and stuff like that. It was fascinating to get the blood work back. And here's the interesting part. I utilized ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did
So-
that too.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I got my blood work. I
it in
uploaded
there.
it to ChatGPT. I said, give me an analysis of my blood work. Tell me what I should add into my supplement stack. Tell me what I should take away from my supplement stack. Tell me what cancels each other out or doesn't work together. Tell me if there's better brands that I could be taking that are cleaner.
Yep.
And then tell me how I can optimize. So it's
Saved
like,
yourself a lot of money, brother.
well, I'm still waiting to get. I have to go get a physical, so I'm getting a physical on the 30th
Yeah.
in order to talk to their guided optimization, like medical director.
Got it.
He's gonna sit down with me and run everything through. But I'm curious if ChatGPT is gonna do as good of a job as this guy is. Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him like, hey,
Absolutely.
I've added this, I've taken this. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And if
that's it.
ChatGPT's better, I'm like, I want my money back.
I mean, ChatGPT's IQ is higher.
It's crazy.
well, you can always like
It's
say
insane.
like in a holistic or naturopath sense.
Yeah.
And then that usually gives you a little bit.
It's the
Yeah.
details
like
and how you
more-
explain
yeah,
it, right?
how you
Yeah,
explain
You're right.
it.
absolutely.
That's what it is.
Your
And
output's
the more
only going to
detailed,
be
the
as good
better.
as your input.
Absolutely.
But it was fascinating to get that breakdown. And then
Yeah.
I've asked it, like, I gave it my full supplement breakdown. And it's like, okay, you should add these, and these because of these issues on your blood work. Like, luckily, all my blood work was very healthy.
Yeah,
I was
gonna ask
freaked
you about
out.
that. That's great.
And then I added in a bunch of supplements. I'm like, okay, now tell me how optimized it is. And it's like, brother, you are 100%. Like, you're going to live to be 150 years old.
Yeah. Yeah,
Obviously
that's
not,
great.
but like it said, you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that one guy probably could.
Brian Johnson?
Yeah.
I love him.
Exactly.
I love Brian
He's
Johnson.
gonna- He might get there.
Dude, he looked freaky. He sat next to me at the Tyson fight.
Really?
He looked like right by me. He looked.
He
a little
looked
freaky.
artificial, huh?
He looked artificial.
He looked like
His
an
skin was
AI.
weird.
He looked like
His
an
skin
AI
looks
guy.
kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like AI.
I mean, he
guy.
looks
It's
super,
the eye
like,
color,
doll-like.
all kind of got a
Huh?
different.
Like a
looks like a
doll.
doll,
Like a
right?
doll. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He used to be Mormon.
Really?
He left the. Did you watch a documentary on Netflix?
I know all of it now.
He left the Mormon church, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
he used to be like devoutly Mormon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting,
interesting.
world.
Yeah, I'd have
Actually,
to
no, I
check
did
out.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
People
But
gave
yeah.
him shit for getting his son's plasma.
Blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The father son
Plasma.
grandfather thing.
Yeah.
That's the next thing I'm doing. I'm doing that like clean my oil.
Really?
Yeah.
The
yeah.
what
I
do they
saw
call
that
it?
guy.
EOO or whatever.
Yeah, when they like clean your blood and put it back
and
in.
it goes through
Yeah,
the
it goes
filter
through the
behind it. The dude on
oxygenation,
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going
Yeah.
to him?
No, not that guy.
You
I
know
have a
which guy I'm
friend.
talking about,
Yeah,
though,
I know a
I
guy you're
do,
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah, and it comes out. He's like, "Look at this blood clot that we just pulled out." I'm like, "Is that really blood clot?"
I know.
It's like 12 feet long. He's like, "It's still going." You're like, "That's
Look
not
at the
real,
color.
dude."
Look at the color on
Took
that
this out of a
side.
vein.
Yeah.
It's also weird to think that
I want to
literally-
try it. I just want to try it.
It's
and see
also
what
wild
happens.
to think
I know
that
a
your
friend's dad who did it.
bloodline is literally like extended by like 3 feet for a minute. Like
Yeah.
it's your heart.
Yeah.
It's psychotic.
Yeah, it freaks me
I
out.
know.
But it actually looks very good. I'm actually let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I will.
Because if you feel like a difference,
Yeah, I just want to do it to like see if it feel better.
hopefully you don't die.
Yeah, I don't think. I hope not. I
You're
hope not.
biohacking, brother.
That's real biohacking.
That's real
right there.
Dude, I'm
Biohacking
such a
right
good
there.
biohacker for like a month, and then I'm like terrible
Then
for
you're
2
done.
months, and then I'm a biohacker again. My wife thinks I like have a
You just
diet
have to
every
get sober,
week.
and that stuff helps.
I got to stop drinking once in
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
I don't drink that much.
Cuts a few years off your
Yeah,
life for
yeah.
sure.
It changes. Yeah, I stopped drinking like
We
a
stopped
year and a
drinking
half
a year and a half ago.
Good for
Yeah.
you
It
guys.
was
Nice.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Just for health
because,
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I feel like everything I do is just to combat that. And then I was like, what am I even doing here? Like,
Yeah.
I just
I
can't
eat
hang out
crap, I
with
sleep
people that
less,
drink
like-
when I drink.
You gotta,
What if I-
you got,
you
you
know what I
gotta, you gotta learn how to have a soda water and a lime. in it.
Soda
you go.
water and
Yeah.
lime.
That's it.
Nobody asks you a
Nobody asks you
question.
Oh, no.
nothing.
And they think
Dude, Johnny,
They
I've
think
gone
you're
out with
drinking.
people so many times and like, you drank a bunch last night. I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't had a sip in 14 years.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, what? You had such a good time.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
The
bro.
best is
I
when
had a
they've
great
been
time.
drinking
Yeah.
and then they start to think you're drinking
Yeah.
with them. They're like, oh, yeah. And
They're
I'm
leaning
like,
on you, and you're like,
No.
oh.
But yeah, people get way more annoying when you're sober, and,
Oh, but
and then they're
We're the
hammered
first
drunk.
ones. We're the first ones
Yeah, yeah.
there.
But
and
you
the-
learn,
and the-
you
and the
learn
first
to where
one's
there's
out.
kind of, there's a little bit of fun in there though, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
'Cause you're
fun.
like- you're like,
Vicariously
yeah,
live through them
I'm not like
sometimes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are idiots. This
I
is
kind
great.
of feel
And
drunk
then I
a
can
little
just
bit.
leave.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's
It's
it.
fantastic.
Because
That's
I
it.
would do that for like a month or like a month at a time. I'll go like
Yeah.
a month or 2 months not drink at all, and I'll hang out with people that are hammered, and I'm like, I gotta leave.
Irish,
Really?
I can't be here.
You're,
Like,
like, you're out.
Just because the ones that I hang out with that should
Yeah.
that are just way too drunk.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
A little too much.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But just find better friends.
I'm lucky, man. My whole like squad of guys in Atlanta, almost none of us drink.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we
starting
all
to be like
go
that.
out
Becoming
and
like
have a
more of
great
a thing
time.
too.
Yeah.
One of my best friends has never drank in his life.
Yeah.
Not because he's an alcoholic. He thinks he might be if he does. But like,
Yeah.
to be able to go out, I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, I would
Bunch
say
of-
the last 3 years I've had most of my friends are not drinking as much. But I still got those couple from high school that,
Of course. Yeah.
that are always
That
fun.
It's wild
enjoy
how
it.
that's like becoming a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
It
like
is.
I've
the-
noticed that
become
too.
way
It
more
is
of a
becoming
thing.
a thing.
Yeah,
huh?
it's more
Yeah.
commonplace for people to not be drinking and be more focused on health. And like,
Yeah.
That's why cannabis is becoming so popular in the
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah.
Honestly.
A friend of ours is opening up like a bar, like
Cava
kind of
bar?
thing, but it's gonna have like a
Mocktails?
bunch of
Adaptogens.
not even mocktails, like more of like non-alcoholic, like health versions.
Really?
But then there's gonna be alcohol there too, to where it's like kind of like a collab of both.
I have a
I think
friend
would be
who's
cool.
opening up an exclusively non-alcoholic version of that same
Yeah.
idea though in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because she hadn't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
There's mocktail
I think
bars.
there's one
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
place like that.
There's like
too.
kava bars and mocktail
Is she
bars.
doing like nootropics and like adaptogens and
Yeah,
stuff?
nootropics and
yeah,
adaptogens,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Which I was like, that's actually a great idea. It's in the
a great
prime
idea.
location of Atlanta, and like, how many people would love? For me, right? Say I'm gonna go on a date with a girl. Would love to take them out to get drinks, but I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's go get drinks so I can watch you drink.
Yeah,
It's like let's go get coffee, or like we're gonna go to dinner.
Seems
you
a little
know?
bit more creepy
But to
too.
go
You're
like,
yeah,
hey,
drink
let's
it.
go get drinks, and I could get like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's have more. Have more. Like I can't be that guy. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'll get an adaptogenic whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
be fantastic.
It's a little cute
Yeah,
little
it's a good
bubbly
idea.
cocktail. It looks like it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'd actually be a great business.
That
to
is.
start.
It is. It's
It
a
is.
solid one.
Yeah. What's a company that's doing it? Kin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kin's good.
Kin.
I have one of those in
Yeah.
my
Kin's
house.
a
I
good
see
one.
an
There's a
exit
good
in their
amount of
future
them now.
very soon.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of those companies, like Rebel, I think
Yeah.
is another
They're
one.
doing
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, they're
well,
big.
those companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
have
mean,
a lot
it's
of
like
Bevmo.
$16
Okay.
for
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of
4 little
Bevmo.
tiny things. So
That's the
I mean,
problem.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're talking. It's $4. It's $4 a pop, and they're only like what 6 ounces, 8
Yeah.
ounces.
So you
they're
go
doing some
get a
well.
coffee,
even.
you're spending $6 anyways.
No.
Black
Yeah,
coffee
which-
somewhere.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you're
yeah,
really,
baby.
and you're really not
Tariffs.
wanting a whole
10.50
Yeah.
macchiato.
Tariffs.
Yeah,
Tariffs.
Tariff
Tariffs.
prices.
Starbucks. Every time I go to Starbucks, I spend like $6 on a drink.
Oh yeah.
And you're really not wanting a whole lot of them. I think
Yeah.
there was like I went to like my sister's bachelorette, and so I bought like a bunch of them because her older sister from another mother, she's sober too. And so I got all these ones, and I was just drinking like a ton of them because everybody's drinking. So I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, just cracking more
And
open.
then you realize you should only
And I
drink
was like,
one.
yeah, I was like,
You're
these
only
just
supposed to drink like one or
feel
two?
like,
My
yeah.
stomach's fucked.
I think I
It's
got
like drinking
hives the
kombucha
next
all night,
morning.
you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think I got hives the next morning. Like my body's like,
Yeah.
I literally
Actually almost
texted him
died.
a picture.
Yeah.
I
Bumper
was
stomach the
bright
next
day.
red.
Well, it's just like
and
a
I
bunch
was
of
hot.
acid and like
Yeah.
I don't
was
even
like,
know.
never
Yep.
again. One of those is good.
Yeah, it's
Yo,
not-
if one adaptogenic is good, then 50 must
Yeah.
be way
Yeah.
better.
Exactly.
I
I'm
was
gonna feel
like,
real good now. I'm gonna feel real good.
Yeah. But see, like when I like drank, like I just was that constant social. Like I would socially just keep drinking.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like to
Yeah.
like be like without a drink. So I think that's
You were
where I
fun.
was like, yeah.
Stacy was
I was
fun.
fun.
This is you, dude.
Stacy was very fun.
He's like, Cece, could you just drink like
No,
one
so
no,
many
night?
different
yeah.
ways.
It's so
She was
funny.
funny.
I'll be fun again, okay?
No, you're still
You
fun.
are
You're still
fun,
fun.
man.
You're
You
still
are,
fun.
man.
I'm just
I
saying
think I
you
got
were.
I think
four
it's
kids, I gotta
easier to
be
have
fun.
fun when you're sober.
Yeah.
I do
I
too.
think when you
I absolutely
feel
do.
and get
Feel
it,
better, yeah.
because I mean, I started having drinks socially like 14, 15, you know? And so it's like, you think you need it to be
Yeah.
fun. You think
Yeah.
you need it to
Yeah.
have fun. You think you need it like to be confident, or you think you need it like it's a part of you. And you realize eventually you don't.
Yeah.
And then you realize how much in society it's become a part.
Yeah.
Like when I went out and the Bachelorette, and it was like bars in Scottsdale, and I was like, dude, like it's crazy to be on the other side and see it. Like it's crazy how
different eyes,
everybody,
yeah.
Everything.
it's
everywhere.
integrated into everything.
Everybody, as soon as you go out somewhere and they need a drink, where I've noticed it, dating apps, almost every single girl has a photo like this.
Yeah,
With
really?
a drink in their hand. I'm like, really? Is that your whole fucking
cool?
personality?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
everyone, it's just like, we
Yeah.
don't care. Yeah, you drink alcohol. Cool.
Yeah.
So does
Yeah.
everybody else. Like,
Right?
yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy though? I think like the 20 to like 22, like the ZIL guys, like 22 to 24.
Yeah.
I see those kind of guys that aren't drinking. Like when I was 21, like it was normal.
Yeah.
Couldn't
It was
keep
like
it out of my
fucking
mouth,
normal.
man.
Like that's like
Yeah.
we were going to clubs and getting bottles, and it was like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But now it's like not as cool. I don't think,
Yeah.
like you were saying, and especially
Yeah.
for the younger generation. Like
Yeah,
Gen
it's
Z.
changing. They're getting more
Yeah.
health conscious too.
And I talked to a bunch of like alcohol guys. I went to a 7-Eleven trade show and we did like a golf tournament. And I
I
was
thought
with,
you were just gonna say you went to a 7-Eleven and talked to a bunch of
no.
Word, tell us more.
There's a lot.
Well, I was with
the one on the
I was with
corner.
the guys selling the alcohol to 7-Eleven, and I was
yeah.
playing golf with them, and they're like, "Our sales are down 30%, and it's all
Really?
because of this shit." You know,
Crazy.
That's what my friend that's
Crazy.
starting that adaptogenic bar
Yeah.
was telling me. She's like, I've talked to a bunch of these bars, a bunch of these alcohol companies, and like alcohol sales are going down drastically. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's
You would
crazy.
never think that.
Yeah.
Right? Like alcohol is so
No.
prevalent everywhere.
Absolutely, without a
and
doubt.
for a really long time, like longer than cigarettes, longer than all
cigarettes
that
are
stuff.
basically
You know?
gone too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zin
This is the health craze
Shout out
now.
Zin.
or Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
Tyson
Shout out
pouches.
Zen.
Zin.
Yeah,
Keeps me going. I need
There
to
you
get
go.
off of this.
We got to
shit,
get
though.
you some Tyson ones.
yeah, we'll get you some Tyson.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Some Tyson nicotine.
I think I got some.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
I mean, screw Zen.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate Zen.
What flavor do you like?
Menthol.
Menthol.
Yeah, it's my go-to, 6 milligram. But I was saying, again, going through my blood work, I asked ChatGPT about like nicotine, and obviously, you know, Zyn is one of the cleanest ones that you could use just based on what I've found and used, and that's available in Atlanta. I talked about it like damaging your endothelial walls, and I'm like, fuck, dude. You know, of course, there's no free ride with anything, but over, you know, you add 10, 15 more years of use to that. Like, sure, my brain's functioning on all cylinders, but at what point am I causing issues to my heart, right? And I'm genuinely trying to live to be like 120, 125 years old. I think it's
Right.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to take care of
I
myself.
want to, but I just have to start taking care of myself more.
Yeah, you can't be a month on, month off.
Yeah,
biohacker.
yeah.
You got to be
I
a
know.
365
Yep.
biohacker.
I got to work on that.
We'll get you there, dude.
I got off Zins though.
You got off
I did
them?
not feel good.
While
What were you
on
doing?
them?
I was
What
on-
milligram was
tired?
you?
I wasn't tired. I was like anxious.
It was like bringing
When you're
your
on
blood
them.
When I'm on
pressure
them.
Oh,
up,
bro, it
probably.
gives me so much anxiety
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't even think I realize I'm just so used to it that I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is like how I operate now.
Yeah.
Just give me 2 cups of
Well,
coffee and a 6
You know what's funny?
milligram.
The Blow It energy gum. I'm going to call it out, but
Yeah.
you eat one of those and you get energy really quick.
Really?
And I swear to God, coffee and that stuff, you feel like some anxiety. I don't feel it with that.
Really?
And that's
Yeah.
kind of why
Does
it's
it have
here.
L-theanine in it or something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like natural green tea caffeine.
Oh, he's got over there.
Thanks to our sponsors.
Yeah, they're our sponsors, but I'm serious
Xylitol.
about it.
Xylitol
No,
is
these
very
are-
good for your teeth.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
helps
It
remineralize
is.
your teeth.
Yeah.
Good.
No, this
like
blows-
green tea
It's
caffeine.
green coffee bean
Yeah.
extract,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
doesn't give it. I don't think it's a vasoconstrictor the same way regular caffeine.
Yeah,
is.
I
And
like
it
it.
hits you in like 8 to 10 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Really?
But yeah, it's incredible. It's got like a gel core in it.
And you can
too.
have some.
Okay.
And it's pretty
Sick.
amazing.
As
As
So-
many as you want.
Tastes good.
I have some right now.
Yeah, there
I
you
don't
go.
like
And I feel
chewing gum,
great.
actually.
What's
And
Blow It's
I like
offer? Let's
chewing
make
it.
an ad for them right
Let's
now.
go.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go.
should. I don't know.
64
Blow It.
milligram
Also,
caffeine.
buy an
Sugar-free.
Og 11 hat.
Yeah, exactly. Both.
We're going to do a collab on
Have
that.
you seen the Prize Picks ads with Mike Malak?
Yeah, yeah.
Bro.
Is he wearing a hat? He's wearing that?
He's shot like 5 ads with them. The amount of people that have sent me the Prize Picks ads that are like, he's wearing your hat.
Yeah.
We're just getting free advertising left and right.
That's great.
That's
Shout out
so
Prize
awesome.
Picks. Shout
There you
out to the dude that owns
Doing
Prize
some
Picks.
ad buying
he's a
for you.
homie.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming here, man.
Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Very
Johnny.
grateful to be here. Thank
Yeah,
you guys
thank
for
you.
having
Thank you
me.
for coming out,
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
I think we did 2 hours, probably. It was
I think
good.
it's like
Yeah, we
maybe
got
3
two.
hours, man.
Yeah.
That was
If you're,
great.
if you're watching
Let's go.
this, go to og11.co, buy a
Yep.
hat, buy one, get one 50% off. Free shipping. Our offer might change on free shipping, but head to the website, grab
we
yourself
go.
a hat. Be like Mike.
They're great hats. Great hats. There you go.
We're
He
out.
said it himself.
I did. Thank you.
Awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Of course,
Thank you.
man.